There's nothing like clearing your throat to start something that people are going to listen to for quite a while. How about some sniffing too? Oh, that was a bad one. Remember that was Sunday League football. I used to have a coach that would hank it, like clear his nose out, like, and he just. But you try it as a kid, and it just goes all down your face and your chest.
Like, some people, that's a skill.
It's a man thing.
It's a skill. Try. I've never tried it as an adult.
You should do it so casually, just walking along, be talking, and just go. And it just be boom, one bullet of snot.
I reckon for like a second, his blood pressure just went.
Oh yeah, he died of a heart attack a few years ago.
While doing it, he just literally went down.
Oh, so this is, well, we're recording this a little early, but you will be listening to this on New Year's Day 2022.
Terrifying.
2022. Do you know what is terrifying? Listen to this. 2002 was 20 years ago. And the fact is, you remember 2002 very clearly.
Yeah. Weird.
And 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah. It's very disturbing, that is. Not happy.
We've lost 2 years to freaking Cocunt.
Yeah, I know. That's definitely thrown it. That doesn't...
Cocunt 19 is just stolen 2 years. So we're all going back. One, you haven't aged those 2 years because you were inside most of the time anyway, so no sun damage.
Yeah.
And we just should revert it back. A bit like daylight savings, but COVID savings.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's only fair.
So welcome to...
Anyone who's been born in that time period, you're negative, you're like minus a year old.
So welcome to 2020.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is weird. It's rolled around fast. Really fast. Like, I thought last year went quick.
Yeah.
And then this year's like flown by even more. I don't know why. Like, I don't know whether it's
because we've been active a bit more, haven't we, this year?
Yeah, it's very, very bizarre. It feels like it snuck up on me. Just Christmas in general as well. Like, Christmas was great, and that just rolled around fast.
I don't feel that. Oh, also, if you're watching on Spotify, we have like a really weird window of light in the middle of the table. That's because it's daytime, and we're normally nighttime, and we're playing daytime, nighttime today. So we can't stop it because the sun is just coming in. It's just tough titties. So we're baning it in the shadows.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of cool.
It looks a little bit eclectic, doesn't it? But yeah, that's why, because we're filming it in the day. But it also means that we are not doing a new bottle of something today.
Yeah. Because
it would be a waste to open it and only have one drink.
Yeah.
So we've gone to some favourites. But before we get to that, Christmas favourites are in front of those. I thought it'd be amiss not to have a Terry's chocolate orange and some mint matchmakers.
I have had matchmakers in ages.
So I'm going to open this Terry's orange. It's a fresh one. Save this one. There's already one open in the living room, I might add.
You've got to have you've got to have separate Terry's chocolate oranges, one in every room.
You do. But what I'm ashamed of is I've only got pure Terry's orange. I didn't get any of the funky ones. But did you know this? This is how you open a Terry's chocolate orange. So you can see when you get it wrapped up, blue sticker on the top, and it's in the wrappy.
Yeah.
You got to take the base.
Yeah.
2 hard whaps on a hard surface. Take the top. 2 hard whaps. Yeah. And that, when you now open it, you don't have to fight to break all the pieces. They just...
No pressure.
Look, watch. And you go in. Proof. Oh, I've got a sticker. And look. It just breaks apart.
I always used to try and twat it off my own head.
And then you only do that once.
Yeah. Surprisingly firm.
The Terry's are open. The matchsticks are partially already eaten.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
I haven't had a matchstick in a very long time. I had some just before we started. And I was like,
changed the box, so now it opens top ways instead of being a slidey tray.
Yeah, I think that's better, to be honest.
I do, because then you don't accidentally run out before you know it.
Yeah, you're very aware.
Because the slidey tray used to tip it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it accidentally
It must be a thing with mint-flavoured chocolates, because after 8, and then if you put the packet back, because you're like, you're not trying to not leave mess everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you get into the end and you're like, oh God, no, they're all gone. Yeah. I thought I had more.
And you have that map, and then you find the one that's like lying flat on the bottom underneath the one. You're like, yeah.
Every time though,
and then what do you do?
The idea that you've got, you savour that last one.
You save it, and then you also leave the packet there with all the empties in it on the table, just to let other people rummage through, knowing full well you've had the last one. Can't beat Cherry's orange. So satisfying. Right.
I've not had a lot of chocolate over Christmas, to be fair. I don't really buy much chocolate. I don't know why. I'm more of a sweets person, but I do love chocolate.
I'm a chocolate guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've
Jaffa Cakes, actually, tell a lie.
I've got a yard of Jaffa Cakes.
Yeah, that's gone already. Mine is.
No, I've done one pack of mine's gone.
So I had a yard, which is 4 boxes of...
Is it 4 or 5?
I think mine was 4 boxes of 10. think.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, they've reduced. They used to be 12 in a pack.
Didn't they?
Yeah, so it's I'm sure it's 4 boxes of 10, and then I had a 3-pack of 10s. They're all gone.
Do you know what Jaffa Cakes are good for? Pre-workout. Or intra-workout. They're ideal for intra-workout.
Or post-workout, or pre-bed, or
breakfast.
mid-morning. Yeah, lunch, dinner, dessert, afternoon snack, 11s.
11s.
Hashtag nutrition.
Yes, health. Hashtag health. Well, it's not 2022 for us just yet. It is for you guys now, but notice, so we've now, this is, what you're listening to is now past calories, and because they're in the past, they don't count. So this never happened. Facts. Science. So what we're going to do today, as promised, we've put the questions out, so we will have the Q&A at the end, but we're going to cover some stuff to help you smash into the new year and not fail like so many of us do. We'll give you some little tips and hints and stuff that I've already started, and some other little stuff as we go along to help you be realistic in your expectation and also be successful.
Yeah, and we're going to do all of that while eating chocolate and drinking whiskey and rum.
Yeah. What have you picked then for the drink?
I've gone for Twin Fin because it is only like, what is it, about 1 o'clock? Yeah, it's 1 o'clock. And I didn't know what time I was going to get here. I thought it might be late morning initially.
Dad joke intersect. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It is 5 o'clock somewhere. But I think if there was ever such thing as a morning rum, Twin Fin would be a morning rum.
You're right. You're 100% right.
So that's my excuse.
If you were served that with breakfast on the beach, you'd be like, yep.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Smells like summer.
Yeah, so that's mine. Really light, really, really sweet. I might
steal some of that.
Yeah, I'm only having an actual realistic single because I've got to drive back a little bit later on. So got to be safe. I don't normally drink and drive at all if I can help it, even if it's just very little.
Same, yeah.
But needs must. I've got things to do as a businessman.
Yes.
So yeah.
Actually, talking of entrepreneurial things, last week we talked about finding porn in the woods on the last episode, and I just got a message through this morning that one, people agree they found porn in the woods. It was a common thing. They used to go fishing. People went fishing and found porn. Riding bikes, finding porn. Country walks, found porn. Pretty much, the guy was busy. The bush porn man was busy. But there's the little known message I got this morning from Peggy Bra of the milkman porno delivery system that was in place where he lived. So you could get, your 3 pints of milk and orange juice and a pack of porn.
See, milkmen, they're getting hammered left, right and centre now. Supermarkets have taken most of the custom from the milk. The internet's taken most of the custom from the porn.
That's it.
How are they meant to make a living?
What's he got going? He's just going to start selling himself.
Yeah.
Milk a milkman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole new meaning to milkman.
But that's quite... You got to give him credit.
Baby.
You got to give him credit though, haven't you? I bet you it was only select customers. You know that he knew he could get away with it.
Or an enterprising milkman.
Yeah.
He's just like, what goes well with milk? We do orange juice. We can do bread. Porn. Yeah. Porn will do.
Maybe he was watching something that involved butter and cheese and milk. At the time, he had like a fetish.
Yeah.
He was like, this is a thing.
Maybe it was dairy related.
Dairy porn.
Only dairy related porn.
Yeah. All dressed as cows.
Well, I was thinking
and milkmaids.
Just erotically milking cows.
Yeah, but the cow is a bloke dressed as a cow. We're going too far with this. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, there was porno milkmans in the world.
I wouldn't want to drink milk that got delivered along with porn.
Good fact as well. Yeah, good point. Well, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something, I don't know, that just doesn't feel right.
Definitely won't be accepted in COVID-19 rule days.
Definitely not.
Yeah, that's definitely not safety consciousness.
I was going to say, I wonder, Peggy, if you're listening, did your parents order porn?
Yeah, we want to know.
Yeah, because I'm assuming that because it happened to be dropped off. You left for school in the morning and then you saw the milk and, big jugs 3 just lie on the doorstep and you're just like, oh, there's the normal milkman delivery.
The jugs are here, Mum, and the milk too. Off to school, ta-ta. Right, there you go. Porno milkmans. You heard it here first. Probably. I doubt you've heard it anywhere else. And if you have, you probably were one of the people ordering it. So well done. You supported a local businessman with entrepreneurial dreams, who's probably now doing porn. On with the episode. So I have gone with the small batch 1792 because It was a cheeky one. It was a surprising one, and I liked it. I was going to go with the Jack Daniels, but we just had that, and this is on a par. These are my two favourites, and I just thought, you're going rum, I'll go whiskey. Because if I was going rum, I would have either probably gone with that or the Burning Barn honey rum.
Are you trying later on today as well?
Yeah.
Again,
so again, just a tipple.
Yeah.
Just a tipple. I did actually contemplate whether it would be poor form to take a hip flask into the gym with you. Because during part of my rehab, when I couldn't go to the gym and I was training here, I would have a nip of my Kraken spiced rum. This is in the Skull, which is in the same room where all my
Just
training
put a
kit is.
little bit in there, and if anyone asks, just watch this BCAAs.
It's in a metal can, hip flask.
Yeah, just like it's the stainless steel
let's keep it
container.
chilled.
The stainless steel container, it stops the BCAAs degrading in
the ether
shape.
of the universe.
Yeah.
That's science.
Secret top tip.
Science.
Don't tell anyone. It's how we
But
say
technically, you got vasodilation,
Yeah.
mental elation. It helps relax you. So, there are actual benefits to having a bit of a shot before a workout.
Yeah, I know quite a few. It's in like powerlifting. It's not common, but it's also not unheard of. There are a few people that it's a bit commonplace. Normally, it'll be done with a deadlift more so than others because the other lifts are a little bit more potentially dangerous and a bit more technical in terms of like you don't want your balance to be slightly compromised when you're trying to squat a maximal load.
Yeah, an elephant squat.
Yeah, or if bench pressing, you're holding a weight over your chest. Probably you want to be as switched on, clear as possible. Whereas a deadlift, you can just let go. And I think a deadlift having a bit more aggression and rage like that, that can be utilised a little bit more.
You don't really wobble over on deadlift either. You kind of plant it out because all the weight's low.
Yeah, some people do fall over from deadlifting. Normally, if they do, it's sumo deadlifts, and it'll be if they're wearing straps, so they can't let go. So it'll pull them over. If they're using deadlift suits as well, because that's like a neoprene kind of multi-layered suit that basically wants people to stand upright. So you have to fight against it. So you'll get some assistance from the suit, but that can kind of pull you in a bit weird direction. So we'll occasionally see people fall over from being in deadlift
dressed
suits
like a twat and then you fall over.
Yeah, it's a strange little. Well, it's not a little at all. It's a strange niche in powerlifting.
Like 3 people to get them into it as well.
Yeah, it is. It's not something I've ever tried. I'm not saying I never would, but it's.
That'd be a funny video. Daily tasks whilst wearing a bench press.
Oh suit. Bench suit.
Because they make your arms stick up.
Yeah, you literally like that. Most people they need help to get their arms under the bar because unless they've got weight in their hands, it's really hard for them to retract their shoulders back.
There's a video for you to do for barbell.
Yeah. I don't own a bench suit.
Trying to make a shake whilst wearing one of those and skipping or something weird.
Just any everyday tasks would be extremely interesting.
What we're saying is drink before doing deadlifts.
Yeah.
And also, so let's pour these.
Yes.
And then we're going to crack on. So I'm going to start with my first one that I fell out of doing, obviously, when my arm fell off. Pretty much just because I was in a mood. And so I stopped. And that is journaling of daily tasks.
Yeah.
So, but it's a little bit more than that. It's a little bit more than just putting a task down and then being like, okay, I've got my list, going to do that. So what I have here, if you can't see it on if you're not watching the video, I have a little leather-bound journal. So it looks cool. It's like something out of Hogwarts. And I have an equally cool pen to go alongside it. So it's a leather-bound gold pen. All like handmade stuff. But it wasn't expensive. I think I got this off, I want to say Amazon, and I want to say it was only about £12 or something for both. I think the pen was like £6-7, and same for the book.
Yeah.
Something like that. So under 20 quid for both. And inside the book is really nice old worldly paper. So it's got the whole rustic feel to it. Yeah. And it's portable, it's not too big. It's not pocket sized, which I actually thought it might be when I ordered it, but it's actually not. But it doesn't matter. The goal is...
You've got cargo trousers on it.
If you've got cargo trousers on, yeah. You could just chuck it in back.
Everything's pocket sized if you've got cargo trousers on.
But the goal is, and I did start pretty well, look.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I have the left... So when you open a book, obviously you've got left page, right page. So on the left-hand side of the page, I would have my tasks. So like here, I've got tasks and I had little doodles on the corners because whilst I was thinking of my tasks, I'd do a little doodle. Then I went up by 8:30 because this was when I was getting to bed at like 3 a.m. like dipshit and not getting up till 10.
Yeah.
So I was grinding my way back down to 7:30 wake ups. But the problem with me is if I get up too early too soon, I'm just fucked for the day and I'm absolutely unproductive. So
You got to
balance. Work your way back. It's easier to ebb your way back down towards an early start rather than just jump into them.
Yeah.
Because I tried jumping into them, I'm just crushed for 3 days and it's a waste of 3 days.
I was going to say, if you do expect for a minimum of a day, you're just going to be very unproductive, normally more than one day.
Whereas with this, it was like 8:30, up by 8:30 meant out of bed, up, not just wake up by 8:30.
Yeah.
So usually I was up by at week 8 and then fest, Then I just had here. So I was aiming for 6 tasks when I start. Now the goal is to get around about 8. As you go along, you add extra ones as you get more proficient. But I had get up by 8:30, train abs, 100 dips, start new edit, sort out office/pictures, and then gym. So they were all my tasks. But none of them were too huge. So I've got there, obviously, 100 dips. So I just do those at any point during the day. Just get 100 dips in and train my abs. So they were 2 things. So it's train abs and do dips, which you could do together. But I separated them. Just, tick one, get it done. And then, you do the other one later if you've rushed or whatever. Start new edit. So I haven't put complete or do new edit. Just start it.
Yeah.
And I did. And all of these, look, I've got them ticked off. And the goal is here to tick off every task every day and to not break a day. So this is why you have it in a lovely little journal that you keep, that you're going to go. And the goal is it's you versus you to not break this fucking thing for like 365 days.
Yeah.
And that's why this is a nicer way of doing it. Because then also on the right-hand page, I've got here, how was your day? And then I've wrote down 2 or 3 major points of the day, and then at the bottom I've drawn like a little box, and in that I decided I'll write something that I read that day or heard that day that was either motivational or made me think of something. So my notes for the day was, how was your day? I've put, I got up early again, but the bed was hard to leave. I want to improve on disconnecting from the comfort once awake. So a little thing there. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that now, when you read it back as well, you can go back and read them.
Yeah, you
like
can
I'm
think
doing
about
now. It makes you remember. Fuck yeah, I need to redo that again. I need to reissue that.
It's really easy to fall back into old habits as well. So don't feel like just because you've fixed that problem, it's going to be permanently solved. No, you've got to keep
everything comes back.
You've got to keep on track, and in those inevitable times where you do kind of things do get a bit derailed for whatever reason, it's useful to have these notes so you can look back and be like, oh, what was I thinking at that time? What worked for me? How did I actually get out of that slump? And you can start to identify habits. And then you can also, you might be able to save time because you're like, I tried this and it just didn't work. So you can just completely eliminate certain things. And it's just the process of being a little bit more like analytical and trying to keep on track with things that you do to make yourself more productive. And by having those written down somewhere, whether it's lists on your phone, using an app, physically written down, whether you have a whiteboard, whatever you do to kind of track them, I think being more analytical is really useful because over time it'll stop you making the same mistakes twice and just get you the results faster.
Literally read back to yourself doing the same shit over and over again. You can be like, what are you doing, you idiot? But they also do say that writing something down with a pen and paper helps adhere it up to 80% more effectively than if you just write it down in like a notes on your phone or whatever like that. It's way more connected to you when you write it with a pen and paper. Yeah,
physically writing something out, I definitely find that I don't know, sticks with me a lot more. Even though I don't like to I'm dyslexic, I don't write a lot down. Most of the stuff I'll do will be jotted on notes on my phone or something that's saved on Google, Google Calendar. But if it's anything that is important to me or anything that I need to do, I don't know, with more urgency, it would be handwritten, and that is because it just sticks in your head a little bit better. I don't know, something about the process. You have to think about it differently when you're putting it into words, opposed to just quickly typing something up. I don't know why.
But I feel less connected when I literally type it on a phone.
I think it's because
it doesn't feel the same.
I think it's because we do it so often. Do you know what I mean? Because everything we do is typed,
muddled in,
and so it's just another one of those things that could be just commenting a thumbs emoji to somebody. It's fucking pointless. Do you know what I mean? And it just gets jumbled up with all of that. Whereas how many things do you do a day that you stop, pull out a bit of paper and write those notes down? probably something important. It's just when you're on the phone to BT and they're asking you to take
Yeah,
down this
take
number,
down this
and you
thing,
need
yeah.
to remember that number or whatever it might be. So I think it just sticks in your head a little bit more.
And if you have a dedicated space for these things, like this little journal, so this is a dedicated space for tasks you're supposed to get done, so jobs you're going to do, positive way, jobs you're going to get done, plus the thoughts of your day. And this is something you can keep and read back over because it's in a nice little leather-bound journal as well. It's just got that whole kind of feel to it that makes you want to go back to it.
Yeah, you're going to want to keep hold of it.
I'll give you a cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Happy
mate.
New Year by the time this comes out. Whiskey and rum. That is so good. 1792. Oh, it's warming. It's sweet. Doesn't need ice. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels cheeky being in the middle of the day.
Twin fin beats fucking...
I'm just going to cover this as well. See, reading this back now, I haven't looked at this since, because obviously when my arm stopped, I've put in here, there was a day I just put mulligan of a day. And that's where I decided to stop the things, because just I couldn't put tasks in that I felt like were worthy enough.
Yeah.
Like pretty much like some of the last tasks were where you fucking sling a bit more.
Yeah.
Like, but they're just, I've got one here, look, stop moping around. Script videos, hit protein. I just had things like that, and I just found out it was Groundhog Day when I was injured, so it was pointless kind of doing the task things because a lot of them I really want to nail this without missing a day, and because I kept getting random hospital stuff or things to do that would take me out for the day, I kept missing my tasks that I'd already written down, and I was like, I'm not ripping pages out, and I'm not doing this, so I just mulliganed it until back.
Yeah, I think that's probably not a bad shout. Like, don't get me wrong, you definitely could have done it, and you'd have had to have modified what.
Yeah.
You would have had to have reduced the magnitude of what those goals were.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of it as well. Like, you want the goals to be small and achievable, because the act of writing down the goals and then ticking them off, the ticking off process is that positive feedback loop that you're trying to create. You're meant to start feeling good about yourself for achieving things. The size of them and what you actually achieved isn't that important. That's something that you kind of would build up over time.
Yeah.
And, the importance of those tasks, because definitely, like, at the start, it is worth having all the little things that you want to do, even if you had 20 things on your list for the day, but they were broken down into, wake up at X time, brush your teeth, get showered, meditate for 5 minutes.
Little things, the brush your teeth things, stuff like that you put in.
Yeah.
So I was already past those, the little ones of getting that done. So that's why. Oh, we just got wind. You can shut the window, Mike.
Yeah, sorry, we're getting a
I
little
don't
bit
think
of
you'll get the banging on the microphones, but here we go. But this one for me was 6 tasks. You can obviously have more of your smaller tasks up on the fridge and stuff as well. But in the journal side of things, it's more of your either goals towards work, goals towards your self-improvement and things like that, just more of those focus points. You mind the ones like make the bed, do the stuff like that. You can include those as you get going.
Yeah.
But then when they become a good habit that you don't feel like, right, okay, I can just do that as part, I'm going to add on better ones. So this is past those parts. I did do those, but I'd already done them by the time I bought this journal, so I'd already had those. But look at this. I've wrote here on my how was your day, listen to this. And this is the thing, is when you write something down and reread it takes you back to remembering why you wrote it. And I put here, listen, and I'll tell you about this afterwards, but I learned a valuable lesson about not trusting in others who have red flags, and to stop letting professional relationships be like a friendship.
Yeah.
And I wrote that down because of something that happened, which you already know about, but I won't talk about on here. Just because I was too nice for too long and ignored red flags, and I've done it a couple of times this now, and as much as it's against my nature to be a bit boss-like or that way, I like people to enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. There are moments, and you are way better at this than me because you run the gym. You've had to deal with it numerous times.
Yeah.
So that was when we spoke, and you were just like, "Yep, here's what you fucking do," and I was like, "Yeah." So I'll cover these quickly. Then my last one was 3 days training in a row felt great, but actioning the time to leave needs to improve.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 there. One was getting away from the comfort of waking up, just get the fuck up and disconnect from that comfort. Getting my training in, and then a life lesson in there. That was the 3 things I wrote. And then the bottom, which I like about what I've done here, is the thing that either a quote or something I heard that day. On this one, it is, and I'm just going to read a couple of these in a row just so you guys have them. So this one is, if you attach yourself to emotions of past events, you can never live in the now. That's a really good one.
Yeah, that is a nice one.
Yeah. So it's basically, if you stay trapped in the past, you can't move forward.
Exactly.
Here's one. Do something rather than nothing. At least make a move towards your goals. Nothing equals nothing.
Yeah.
I got hurt today, but I can recover, and maybe this was the universe protecting me from something worse that could have been. And that was, I was careless during boxing and was not warmed up, resulting in, and here, this is what I've wrote, a near bicep tear. Oh, how little did I know. That was when we still thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But then, I was supposed to go rock climbing that Sunday,
Yeah.
and it happened on the Friday. So maybe had I gone rock climbing on the Sunday, something worse would have happened.
Yeah,
and that's how I looked at that whole injury. And
I think
that did help me through it a lot.
Yeah,
so
it is
go,
important.
The journaling thing.
Yeah, definitely. The journaling is really important. And I think that is one, because it's done on a daily basis, so that can be more flexible with you as your daily tasks change. Whether it's a weekend and you've got a couple bits to do around the house, so you need to go shopping and do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Whether it's a work day and you've got certain tasks to perform at work, as well as keeping on top of some chores at home, or making sure you've got, something, a present for your partner, or whatever it might be. It's just a way of keeping on top of things, and it's adjustable on a daily basis. I think what pairs very well with that, and you've kind of had them lumped in, and also, but you have this downstairs, and something I do is having like a month calendar or a 6-week block of time on a whiteboard, or on a, yours is like it's like a wipeable.
So I've literally pulled that
laminate
out.
sheet, isn't it?
That was actually a gift from a while ago.
Yeah.
From somebody that just kind of got piled up amongst a lot of boxes, and I was clearing everything out, getting everything sorted in the hallways, and I found it. Pulled it all out, and it's a full set. So they all came together, and they're magnetized whiteboards that fit on your fridge front door. One's all the
It's a month calendar.
days of the month calendar that you fill in the numbers of the days of the month. So it's still got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you obviously fill in the dates for that full month. And then underneath it there's a small section which is daily notes. To do. So that's where I've put like little things to do on there, like reels, invoices, all kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was the other one underneath it? I think it's just
I didn't
tasks.
see what I didn't. Yeah, it was
It's a
always
task
task list. Yeah.
so that all goes on the fridge. And like I said, that is good because it's a visual aid. So even though there's this journal here, I have to go to this and open it to see it.
Yeah.
That fucker's staring at me every time I walk in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or every time I go to the fridge.
And those, I think, actually are probably more useful for the repetitive tasks that we have, or things that we need to achieve, and we want to achieve them consistently every single day, such as making sure that we take our supplements, make sure we adhere to our calorie goals, or making sure we get to the gym on time. So those are the 3 things that I personally put up on mine. So I use a whiteboard. I actually I write it all by hand, but I could do with something more like that, so it's a bit easier, because when I wipe off the days, I then end up wiping off some of my lines and I'm drawing my lines back on. But anyway, so I have 6 weeks normally, so it's seven boxes in a row, and then that times 6. And inside each box is divided up into smaller boxes. One of them is a training, so whatever the session was. So when I was doing it, it might be.
So in one day's box, that box is broken up into how many other boxes?
So it'll have my training section, my nutrition section, and my supplement section.
So you're splitting it into thirds.
Yeah, so it's into thirds. So then they'll basically, I know this sounds
How
kind
big
of
is this thing? A big white.
It's about that big.
Jesus.
Yeah, they're smaller crosses.
Yeah.
So again, you can do it however you want to, and you could do it in 4-week blocks or 2-week blocks.
Yeah.
For me, I really like to see the accumulation of a lot. Though it's not necessarily seeing ahead. It's more once I'm 2 weeks in, I'm like, shit, I've not broken this in 2 weeks. I've got to keep it up because of my routine with my old job where I was traveling all around the country. I was able to stick with training schedules, but I didn't hit sessions on certain days. It was always getting it in when I could get it in, because that's just how it was. Sometimes I wasn't even in the area. Sometimes I was in a different fucking country. I just have to make it work. I don't have that problem anymore, but I still carried on that practice of, if I'm busy, I'll just push it back to the next day. I was like, no, fuck that. Why do I do that? I should get my sessions in consecutively on the days that I want to. And at the time when I was doing it very regularly, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was push, pull, legs, day off. Then it was upper, then it was lower, then it was day off, and then rinse and repeat. And even on my days off, the box, so it said what I was meant to be training. So it was push, pull, legs, rest, upper, lower, rest. That was how it went throughout the week. So I would tick those off. So even if it was a rest day, that got ticked off because that was important, because that is me following my schedule.
Yep.
I had my calorie goals, so I had to make sure that I was hitting, for me, it was a minimum calorie goal. Some people, if you've got more specific macro goals or a protein intake goal, whatever you're using to kind of track your performance,
The one you've fallen
whatever
behind on.
the metric is that's most important to you, use that.
Yeah.
For me, it was just total calories.
So it's day by day tick off the way you do it, which is another way, which is also
Same with supplements.
And these all should probably run alongside each other as well.
Yeah, they do perfectly. I think that works better for the tasks that need to be done day after day and they don't change, because then I'm 4 weeks in and something comes up and I'm like, fuck, it's going to be a busy day.
Mid sentence cut off a Lou there.
Yeah.
But you can now see me on the video. I was getting absolutely smashed by the sunlight there.
Getting
I was like
blinded.
you said, like Morticia Adams from Bloody Adams
Yeah,
Family.
just
That light across my eye. So you should be able to see us better now on the old videos. Right. So yeah, you were in your 6 weeks. Something happened.
And basically the one of the crucial parts of it was, for me, so where I sleep, it was on the wall immediately next to me. So when I turned to get out of bed, it was there in front of me. So I had no, I never missed that. Every single day, I could always see it. It needs to be somewhere that's easily visible.
Yep.
You need to be reminded of it, because that's where the book potentially can fall down, and why they need to be paired together ideally.
Which is why it doesn't work on the phone as well, because you can just ignore it.
Yeah, exactly. You can just ignore it. It's just tucked away somewhere, hidden in a little app, or hidden on another little sliding screen that you don't need to look at.
Yeah.
So on the fridge, on the bathroom mirror, if wherever is going to be somewhere that is very visible. And also this is going to vary depending on how important this is to you. If this is something that you really need to fucking do and it's really important to you, you're going to make this as in your face as possible, so you cannot miss it.
Maybe multiple reminders around the house.
Yeah, so just that's something that I found really useful. And as those days stack up, you just feel that building, because you look at it and you're firstly, you're proud of the consistency that you've been able to execute on everything, but you want to do everything you can not to break that streak.
Yeah.
And the hardest time every time was when I wiped that off and I was entering a new 6 week block, because I had no crosses, and I was just like, I could miss a session. Do you know what I mean? I could do that. So and that was, and I did occasionally I'd push a session back, and it was always within that first week, because I hadn't stacked up enough, enough
Isn't it
credit.
funny that, but not a lot of people think about that, but we all have that initial skip it, or just this one, miss that little voice pops up. Nobody's immune from that. No. And it's completely normal to have it. The fact is this act of fighting against it, and this act of consistently defeating it. That's all we're doing, is we're just providing ways to consistently defeat the lazy voice in our head. But everyone has it.
Yeah.
And if it's overtaken you over the past month, year, whatever, you can still beat it. It's only ever as strong as you let it be. Yeah. And actions will dampen it.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, today when I was at the gym, it's just somebody I've spoken to several times, and they said that their motivation's a little bit lower at the moment. So they've missed a few sessions and stuff like that. And I've said the normal stuff, that it is normal this time of year.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up about it. Just make sure you're doing everything you need to do to get on the ball. And they trained really hard and was very consistent beforehand. So I said, having a slower week ain't going to be too detrimental. But in previous conversations with him, he said how much he loves training, how he never misses a session. He said he's since he started training, he's literally never skipped. He's only been training a year, and I did say to him, I was just like, that's fine. You'll have your ups and downs. When
you first started, how gung ho were you?
Oh fuck me! Yeah, I was trying to get in every day.
Yeah,
and I remember the staff were saying you probably would benefit from having days off, and I was like, as a fucking idiot 16-year-old, I was just like, I'm going to train every single day because that's going to get me more jacked quicker. And you were
obsessed, weren't you, when you started?
Yeah.
Obsessed. Now when you realise it's a grind, when you realise this is a lifelong thing, then you think, well, miss a day, it's not going to make much difference. Then you miss 2, and then you miss a week, and then it's like, well, I'll get back into it next week, and then something happens that next week that's not so good and isn't the perfect environment for you to get back into it, so you use that as an excuse. And it's just so easy to snowball.
I was going to say, out of everyone because obviously so many people in the fitness community, I've been in and around gyms for a good amount of time as well. I don't think I know a single person that's been training for more than 3 to 4 years that hasn't had at least one chunk of time where they've not been that interested in training, or just not bothered training for an extended period of time.
Because I came through doing the fight training and obviously competitively fighting, and then coming into the gym, I didn't miss shit for 5 years.
Yeah.
I was rock fucking solid. If you struggled to get to the gym and you were training with me, you didn't miss fucking sessions.
Yeah.
I was that motherfucker that was on the phone to you going, get up now. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
My dog side, well, it's dead and it's too late. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
I was that guy.
Yeah.
Like I was just super fucking woof.
Yeah.
And then now, because I'm not in that same environment of being in the city, I'm in the country and the gym's further away and I'm not training with anybody. It's just me on my own doing the stuff, and I'm not in the fight camps anymore, which is another team activity where you're letting others down if you don't fucking get there.
Yeah.
So all these things were motivation for me, which is why when I see people training together in the gym and one fucker's on the phone while the other one's doing his set and they're not even... I said, do you know how fucking lucky you dumb shits are to have somebody to come and train with in a gym?
Yeah.
Do you know, take fucking full advantage. Put your pissing phones away. Push each other. I've seen two guys be quicker onto their phones and pay more attention to scrolling through Instagram than the reps their mate was doing badly.
Yeah.
So neither of those fucks are going to improve anything.
When they need a spot, they're about to get pinned and they're just
Fucking
like...
just not even, there wasn't even a contemplation of really helping one another. They just literally stood by each other whilst each of them trains.
Yeah.
What a fucking waste of an opportunity.
Yeah.
Couldn't be a more blatant waste of a life opportunity there. Just unreal. It couldn't fight. It makes me angry. Makes me angry now. When it's personally in front of me, I want to go over and slap them. Both in the face. You know, just like line them up and just go, just hang on, just stay there. And then just go straight across
Get
the
both
two.
of them.
Just one, in one sweep. So yeah, pop across them. Fucking, do you realise? Like, I'd love somebody to train with on a regular basis who I was committed to not letting down.
Yeah.
And I love training with other people when they're like me. But if I train with somebody who, when you get off your set, I'm fucking there like a bull at the fucking gate. Like, ready. I'm on.
Yeah.
Now, I might have the same setup time once I'm in it, set your feet, get all that.
Yeah.
That's not rushed. But you're off, I'm fucking on.
Yeah.
You're not getting off, and me, I'm stood around. They're going to have a chat with you about something or looking off somewhere. I'm fucking ready. Don't be that fucking guy that is slow moving. You had enough time to rest when that motherfucker's done his set. So get the fuck going. And this is why motherfuckers don't look any better, though.
Yeah.
This is why. Wasting opportunities, low energy levels. And the reason I don't like it when somebody's like that is because when I get off a set, I'm fucking in pain and I'm like, fuck, that hurt. Yeah. And when I look around and see them dilly-dallying and not on the machine, it pulls my energy down.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And it's like, I'm the only one fueling this workout.
Yeah. I think often there is that, like, I've trained multiple times with different people. And sometimes when you're trying to encourage people and drag them into fitness, there's this feedback, isn't there?
Yeah.
And like one person's giving into that kind of the energy of the session, and another person's taking from that, and that's fine to do in certain situations if you're trying to get somebody in, but that does need to be reciprocated at some point. You know what I mean? Because we all have those low days where we don't have as much energy, and that's when your partner's turn to kind of pull the slack.
One of my best friends, Mark, who lives in Manchester, we used to train together every day at the gym. And there were days where he had an operation on his arm and he kept complaining about it. And I told him to shut the fuck up. Yeah. About he said so many complaints. I went, I don't want to hear you say another. I literally said it to him, and he comments on me to this day about this, how rough I was with him. But it was literally, I said, I don't give a shit if it hurts. So if it hurts, change the fucking grip. Yeah. I don't want to hear you complain or moan or give me excuses. I literally said it to him, but I was saying it to him for his benefit.
Yeah.
And do you know what he fucking did? Sucked it up, and I didn't even complain once again after that. Yeah. He just changed the grip, and I went, that's how you fucking work. That's what we don't complain about how what's hurting hurts. We change that shit and we move through. And it was such a good thing. And he shaped up so well in that year where we had that real intensity. Yeah. And I think that, so this leads us on to our second thing. So we've got you the journaling, third thing really. We've got your journaling, we've got your visible motivational boards that you can put up around the house.
I think that's just like a calendar board, isn't it?
Calendar board, and motivation, like you said, for reminders around the house. So if you need something when you get up that says, get up out of bed now, and that's a fucking sticker on the door on the wall right next to where you fucking turn your head every morning. Third one is, who is surrounding your life right now? Who is around you and who's affecting you? Because the people around you the past year, look at them this way. Have they stoked the flames of your fire or pissed on them? If they pissed on them at any point, I'm going to be ruthless. I say, get those fucking people out your life. Because I don't actively ever go to shit on any of my friends' ideas. Even if I think it's the dumbest fucking idea ever, I'll sit them down and say, well, tell me why you think it's good. And then they explain, and I'll say, but have you thought of this? I don't go, that's stupid because of something. I say, have you thought of this? And then bring up the possible problems there could be with it. I don't shit on it. But also, if somebody has an idea that they're nervous about, it's a good idea, I will support them in every way I can.
Yeah.
And that's not me trying to big myself up to be a good person. That's my natural instinct towards somebody I care about. And that's how people should be to you. So if you're a person who has friends that you're constantly having to reach out to meet up with, you're the one making the calls, you're the one making the texts, you're the one doing all the fucking work. And if you don't hear from them, then maybe you don't need to hear from them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think, again, it's a two-way street, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You're the average of the people around you, and making a conscious effort to kind of moderate the people that you are exposed to is something that it seems very calculated and unemotional, but it really isn't, because you're responsible for yourself. There's at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're doing well in life, and And I'm not saying you need to only surround yourself. This is a mistake that I've made, thinking that I needed to surround myself with people that were all, high drive for business, I suppose. And that's that element, because that was something that I wanted to succeed in personally. And that's definitely part of it. And it's something that I have done. And I'm around brilliant coaches. You, again, like a successful entrepreneur. There's plenty of people that I surround myself in that work very, very hard and are very smart, but also what's just as important is making sure that you find people that just give you good energy. They could be the laziest person in the world, but if they're fucking hilarious and they always make you smile,
they make your day a positive.
That person is as valuable as having Gary Vee as your best mate.
Yeah, but you can't. It's the same thing. You can't go fully extreme all in one direction. You need balance through everything. Mm-hmm. The point of the point of fact is, though, people have in their lives those people that will try to constantly, any idea they have or anything they're trying to do, they'll immediately go to the negative factor of it or try and pull it down. Rather than raise themselves up, they'll try and pull others down towards them. Because that's the lazy mentality. It's easy to do. It doesn't take energy to do that. It just takes words.
A lot of the time it's people wrapped up in their own fears and insecurities, isn't it? That kind of
constantly coming to you with their problems, never helping you with yours.
Yeah.
You go, here's a classic one. You see this a lot. People someone goes to somebody for help, and then that person who they've gone to help for ends up telling that other person about their problems instead. Their response to the other person needing help is, well, I've got a better problem than you. Listen to this. Just so self-absorbed.
Yeah, I know quite a few people that used to do that. But now you're talking about it, because I do remember, having these things happen. And I think actually it's a really good reflection on where I'm at right now. I don't have anyone that does that.
No,
I don't have anyone that shits on my ideas. I don't have anyone who puts me down. I have people around me who, if I ever do need to talk, are actually really supportive, and not necessarily just because they're going to be able to give good advice, but just if they can take my mind off things. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. That's a really good place to be in.
Yeah. And
you need to be conscious about that, though, don't you?
It's something that can be scary, because you think, well, what if this person, though, they've been in my life for such a long time, and then maybe they are kind of your main friend, which can often be the way, because those type of people often don't like you befriending other people, and often put others down that you try and befriend.
Yeah.
So that's a common thing. That's a real common trait.
Yeah.
It's okay to not know or have 100 friends. Mm-hmm. It's fine to only have one or two people in your life. Sometimes it's fine to completely fucking restart. And the way you do that is by starting doing those things that you wanted to try that the other people put you down and said was silly ideas. Get out, try new things, meet new people. And because you're trying things that interest you, you're more likely to meet people on a similar wavelength with similar. Can't say that word today. I want to say similar. With cinema for the mentalities.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon, similar mentalities. That's what happens. If you go and try stuff that you like, you're going to meet people that like similar things to you, and you're going to gel with. Mm-hmm. So that, I think, is a huge thing to really take into account. And yet, you got to be tough. Yeah. It's going to be rough. Maybe that person is your partner.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to take a big, long, hard look at your relationships on all fronts.
Yeah.
Parents included. Sometimes people can have really bad relationships with the parents, and they just keep getting battered by one of them, or maybe they have too high expectation for something that they want their kid to do that the kid doesn't actually want to do. Maybe you need to have that conversation and say, listen, that's not actually where I want to go with my life. Mm-hmm. and let them know what you want to do and why. And then maybe they'll realize why you've been kind of off towards what they've been pushing you against. These are all, so this whole relationship thing within your world is a huge factor to address. Because if you keep it from last year and it's been an issue and you drag it through to the new year, guess what? Same shit.
Happen. And I think as well, it does require a conscious effort to put yourself out there with the new people. So, we've all had situations where we've met somebody on a whim, potentially a friend of a friend out at a pub where you were with somebody else and got on quite well with somebody. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with making that step of, we should meet up at some point, or would you like to go for a beer? Would you like to grab a coffee at some point and we can talk about this XYZ thing? I think a lot of people aren't as comfortable in doing that as they should, and at worst the person will be like, no, thank you.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
they say
and
no.
almost certainly they won't do that. What's more than likely to happen as a letdown, they'll be like, oh yeah, sounds like a great idea, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
And no harm, no foul.
You just reminded me, actually, because one of the guys at the gym, who's been a lovely guy, he's always coming in and checking on me every time I've been back in to check. He's like, how's your arm? How's it doing? He's a boxing coach who's just moved over.
Yeah, you told me.
So I'm going to give him a message after this, actually, to sort some meal this week, because most people are in a flux of nothing to do this week, aren't they?
Exactly.
So
yeah, that's another good one. Just don't feel too worried about putting yourself out there, asking somebody if they wanted to meet up. Almost certainly they're not going to flat out say no. Worst case, they'll say yes and then they won't actually act on it.
Yeah.
And that might be intentional, might be because they forgot. Don't read too much into it. That's fine. That just proves that they probably weren't the right person at the right time.
Yeah.
And there will be a person who'll be super receptive to it. They'll message you that day or whatever, and then it'll happen, and you'll be like, oh, this was great. It worked out, and now you've got a new friend.
Elevate your day.
Yeah.
And that's it. And if you'd never have taken that step, you would never have had that new meet, that new person, that new possibility.
Yeah.
And that's the only things that are, how's the way to say this? The only thing that you can do wrong is to miss opportunities by not trying. It's never wrong to try.
Yeah.
You're only wrong if you don't.
Yeah.
So I've met some amazing people in the most random places just by being open and being approachable.
The more you do it as well, the easier it'll get.
It's so easy.
Yeah. I remember feeling uncomfortable talking to new people when I was younger. I remember, and I think everyone goes through a bit more of an awkward phase in their I suppose they're mid-teens, I guess. It's just you don't know who the fuck you are. You don't know who the fuck anyone else is. Everything's just you can be like a little bit uncomfortable at that time period, and then some people grow out of it, some people don't grow out of it, and then I think that can solidify in people's personalities, and then they start to associate themselves as somebody who is shy and uncomfortable and awkward.
True.
And the only way is to actively try and break that cycle. And it's same as everything; it's practice. We've talked about it in different CREWCasts in the past, where we talk about kind of meeting women, meeting men, whatever it is, or just getting new friends. And there is always a moment of just fucking having to just bite the bullet, try and talk to somebody. And again, unless it's super forced, like we're not saying just approach a stranger on the street, saying you're out somewhere,
go
you
with the
bumped
flow
into
of the
somebody.
organic.
If you're out at an event that you're interested in, and you see somebody else, they're there because they're interested too.
Yeah, same reasons. Yeah,
get cracking with that. I think making sure that you surround yourself with good people. And just some of them are more forced, like I said and I've mentioned in the past, like me fairly out of the blue messaging Noel and saying, hi Noel, hope you're okay mate, hope everything's all right. I know this is a bit random, but I'd love to kind of meet up with you for a chat, just a bit of business talk and life talk, and have you as kind of an informal mentor. And Noel was like, yep, that's cool, I do that with other people. In terms of like he sees other people that are his mentors in other bigger companies, probably not bigger now, but they were a couple of years ago.
Before Jimmy Shark went to America.
And that was it. And I felt uncomfortable doing that because it was kind of a bit of a formal ask in a way. But
anything that's outside of your normal comfort zone is going to feel uncomfortable. The trick is to not be dissuaded by that discomfort. And I think there's a couple of things you can do that are really easy. If this is just a thing about meeting people, simple thing is to go in, introduce yourself, ask their name, and then ask them questions about them. That will always ease somebody in with you. Is find out. So it's, so what do you do? what are you doing here? Do ask them questions. One, you don't have to think about shit for yourself. You just need to think of a question to ask them. And then eventually they'll ask you questions back, and then you can respond because you don't have to lie. Just tell them the truth about stuff. And, you're not making anything up. You're just responding to probably a very simple question of, what you do and all that. How are you here? Why? Who do you know anyone? And it just flows from there. And that's a really simple way of doing things. And then you let the evening kind of go, and then you'll see whether it's an opportunity that is a little bit more like, going to be a little bit more informal outside of there. So you can just say, hey, listen, why don't you just grab my number, and if you're ever about, give me a shout and grab a coffee or whatever. Yeah. Really just casually do things like that. And that usually leads to some really good relationship bonds later down the line, because if you're easy and not too kind of, what's the word? I don't want to say linear, because that's the wrong one. But if you're kind of awkward and worried about the conversation that you're having whilst you're in the conversation, it's gonna show.
You're pulled out of the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, you're gonna look like you're robotically trying to create a conversation. And so don't go in overthinking things. You've got basic questions you can ask everybody: name, job, why are you here, who do you know, whatever the situation's environment. If we're at the gym, have you been here long? Yeah. What have you found that works? Things like that.
Yeah. First question, I pretty much ask everyone, what type of training do you do? Like, what's their goals with their training? Yeah. And that normally can get someone talking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just off of that point. And there's plenty of little things that you can interject with and add in your own kind of thoughts or things that you've done that are similar. And that's kind of normally how it goes, because for most people, within 5 to 10 minutes of talking, most of that uncomfortableness of, this is somebody new who I don't know, normally fades for almost everyone within 5 to 10 minutes of consistent talking. Yeah. To the point where that organic conversation can flow a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's a major one. I think I've got one really big one that I do want to cover, because it's quite important for...
So we've had the 4. So far we've had your journaling with your 6 tasks to start with, increasing to 8 as you get better. And remember, don't make them too large. And you've got the tasks on one side of your page in the journal. On the other side of the page, at the end of the day, you write your notes. And at the bottom, either a quote or something you learned that day that was impactful. Then we've got your visual aids. So whether that's the calendars on the fridge, on the wall, showing you the month or the weeks ahead of you, so you can just get things down on dates and see where they're going to be, how close they are to other things, and kind of arrange your time. Task lists, again, out on a wall. Like you said, Lou has his broken down 6 weeks board with your training. What was it? Your
training, my calorie goals and my supplementation, making sure I don't miss my supplements.
And you literally X out the entire day, a big cross across the whole thing every time you complete that day. And the idea is to fill that board with X's. So again, it's these little reward systems, little task, tick, reward. It's that positive reinforcement all the way through. Then we had the third one, which was this third, the people surrounding you? Yes, it was. People in your life who surround you, who is around you on a consistent basis, and how are they affecting your life, for the positive or the negative, and whether that be a friend, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, parents, whatever it is. So if it's somebody closer, you need to readdress that conversation with them. You sit down and have a chat, like, listen, I love you guys and I appreciate everything you do for me, but this is where I want to be at, and you move from there. But if it's people who you can cut, who are just a fucking problematic person in your life, maybe they're just full of problems and never anything towards you, don't feel too guilty. Just cut them out. Just slowly, distance.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a deliberate. Harsh. You have to go up to them and be like, I'm not talking to you again. Yeah. You just stop messaging them.
Yeah, or just start sending.
Kind of fades away.
Not got time right now. I'll get back to you later, and then just slowly ebb away. And we included in that as well, trying new things. Once you get away from those naysayers, go out and try those new things this year. Fucking put on your task list to go and try something new during the week. Put it on that board. Put it on the motivational board. Yeah. Whatever it was that you've put off, go and fucking do it, because you're more likely to meet like-minded people there. Fourth one was meeting people, conversation-wise, actually putting yourself out there and approaching people, having that conversation ability to just go up and asking them questions, being comfortable in just putting yourself out there and not being afraid that a no's coming, because who cares? There's hundreds of people you're going to meet on a monthly basis if you're out and about doing stuff. Yeah. And so take opportunities when they come, and just don't be afraid of a no. It really is. The only thing that's going to come from it is good, or you carry on as you were.
Yeah, like what's the person who, if they did say no, for them that's just something relatively insignificant. They're like, no, I can't do that. They're not like, going to go and gather a group of people and tell them,
point at you.
see that person? He asked me if I wanted to get a coffee, and I said no. And
Have we got the pitchforks? Did we bring the pitchforks?
Yeah, like no, for them, it was just no, they can't do it because of whatever commitments, or they had time-bound issues, or whatever it would be, and then that's it.
Yeah. So. And you don't need to feel awkward around them if you see them next time. Just give them a head nod and like, you're right, and you stay nice, happy, you're right, and you carry on. Yeah. And they'll either engage with you or they won't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how it is. I've got one little one for after your big one as well, so we've got 2 more for you.
Okay.
Go.
All right. So this one, because obviously everyone sets targets and goals for, for the new year.
Like, so you're talking big ones.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, these would be your New Year's resolutions of I want to get the most jacked I've ever got before. And this is something we implement with all our coaching clients. Our coaches do it. It's used a lot in business. It's used a lot in schools and colleges and universities. SMART goals. Have you heard of SMART goals?
No.
Okay, so it's what's the word? An acronym, anagram, whatever the fuck it is.
I think it's acronym, is it?
So SMART stands for. I've got the official breakdown of what it is, so I don't.
Serious.
So I don't.
It's color coded.
I think it was just before the last lockdown. I actually did a SMART goals video on Black Country Barbells. I think it might be our IGTV.
Okay.
And this one was a little bit more specific. It took SMART goals, but it took it and applied it to training because this can be applied to
life, is it?
Yeah, this is just general. Whenever you're setting goals, you want to apply the rules of SMART goals. Okay. So I'll break down what SMART stands for and then actually how that would apply in real life.
Go on, I'm Terry's chocolate orange it first. Actually, no, I'm matchmaker.
Matchmaker?
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to look at you like a kid does, pretending to smoke. A matchmaker. Okay, ready.
So it is specific, measurable, attainable or actionable, realistic and time-bound. So that is SMART. So specific is set something that is specific. Don't just have, I want to be the most jacked I've ever been.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that look like? Is that a certain body fat percentage? Is that a certain weight? Is that you lifting a certain amount of weight, performing an exercise that you've not been able to perform?
Realistic focal points for this task.
Yeah. What is it? Are you getting back to you've got an old photo of you when you were leaner before you went on a holiday 5 years ago and you want to look like that again? Like, you need it to be very specific. Setting a goal that is vague is really, because you don't know when you've achieved it.
Pissing in the wind.
Yeah, you are. You're pissing in the wind. You need these black and white. So, which is one of the reasons we try to make sure that our coaching clients, whenever they work with us, not only are they setting a goal of I want to look better, but what is that? Is that a dress size? Is that being stronger? Because if you've got considerably stronger, you have put on muscle.
And do you know what I mean? If you wanted to drop a dress size and get stronger, they're 2 conflicting tasks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if your vague thing was I want to be smaller in a dress and stronger, you'd be like, well, where's your real focus point? Which is more important out of those two to you? Because that's going to be our first focus point.
Yeah. What's the priorities? It's kind of gives people a much tighter parameter to aim for. They know what you're doing, and you know whether you're actually moving towards it.
And then you can be more controlled through the whole thing. You can adjust. You can, it gives you more control over your end result as well. Yeah,
you need that feedback. You need to know, because whether you achieve it or not at this point, that doesn't necessarily matter. You need to know whether you achieved it or not, because that's where you learn. If you got it wrong, that's fine, because then you can adjust. Imagine you were like going to a driving range playing golf, and you whack the ball, you see where it lands, you adjust. You whack the ball again, you see where it lands, you adjust. That's how you learn a task to get better at it. Yeah. Imagine you go into a driving range and it's pitch black and you're just firing that ball off into the fucking abyss.
Yeah.
You got no feedback. You don't know if you're getting better. You don't know if you're getting worse. That's basically the point of having specific goals, because then that turns the lights on. You can actually see, am I getting close to my goals? Am I getting further away?
Okay.
So that is specific. Measurable, again, that kind of carries over as well. Is it something that's going to be tracked? Like, is it possible to track that goal?
Because it's going to need to be in some form.
Yeah, in some shape or form. Yeah, you're going to need to track it, which is why, again, having numbers as goals it's much simpler for most people. So a lot of things do correlate quite strongly. So somebody having better total work capacity, being able to perform more sets and reps in a gym, or have less rest interval, or do more steps throughout their day, that normally correlates quite well with the amount of calories that they're burning, which also correlates quite well with them losing weight.
Yeah.
So, I want to be able to do X amount of steps every single day, and without being out of breath. I want to be able to lift a certain amount of weight for a certain amount of sets and reps. Or it's got to be something that is measurable.
Capacity in the office, would this be how many productive hours you've actually had during that day. So how much of my time did it actually put to effect, and how much was procrastination and waste?
I think applying this to office tasks will probably be a little bit more industry specific. It depends on what your role is.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really give that
You'd have to have
general
probably
advice.
goals of your workload. How many goals did I achieve this today?
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's just measuring, are you being consistent in the number of goals you're achieving per day?
Yeah. So achievable is the A.
So is that realisticness? So it's like saying, I weigh like 80 kilos now. Say that to weigh 100 kilos by the end of the year is a silly idea, really. It's not really that healthily obtainable.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's it. It's
more-
making sure it's...
More to say, like, I want to, over the year, gain 3 pounds of lean mass. That's a realistic goal.
Yeah.
But still hard to achieve.
Exactly, that's it. Making sure that it is achievable, because again, like I said before, with being specific, it's okay if you don't achieve them. That's fine. If we can still learn from that, but by not setting up something that's achievable, you're setting yourself up to fail.
And that's right. Yeah, I may not get that 3 pounds of lean mass by the end of the year, but in trying to get there, I will have learned a whole load of new beneficial things along the way anyway.
Exactly.
So I will still have achieved so much more by just trying to get to that upper goal set.
Yeah, exactly. So, and for some people, especially if you're newer with training, you might not know what's achievable, and that's where you talk with other people at the gym, talk with coaches, message me or Lex, like ask, there's plenty of people that you can talk to. You can just do your own research as well. Is it realistic to do this? Or is it safe to do this? Because, you can lose weight real fucking fast.
Yeah.
Is that going to be good for you? No.
Never.
No. So that, I think, making sure that it is an achievable goal is going to be really crucial. So relevant. So this is...
So just covering again. So we've got...
So specific, measurable, achievable,
and now we're on...
relevant. Make sure that it makes sense within the function of what you're trying to do. If it's is that goal, because obviously we're talking about using these other parameters like being measurable, and sometimes that doesn't apply to that first idea that you have as a goal. Like, I want to look better. Okay, that's the first one. But looking better is very hard to be measurable. So then you might adjust that goal slightly. So I want to be able to do X amount of workouts a week without getting out of breath or without doing X or Z.
Yeah.
But then is that goal actually relevant to the other goals?
So it's just what it's doing as you're going along is dialing in your focus, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it would be, yes, it is relevant, because if I'm able to do those workouts with a higher endurance level, that's going to help me get to where I want to look, and looking better down the line. So yes, it is relevant. Whereas if I then said I wanted to do 30 workouts a week, you look at, well, that's not relevant, because that's not going to actually be any added benefit to getting you where you need to, because you could achieve that doing something way more feasible.
Exactly. And lastly is time bound, which, when are you going to do it? When are you I want to get in shape. When do you want to get in shape? When
5 weeks, mate. I want to get 12 pounds in 5 weeks.
Yeah, there we go.
And then you just say no.
Or some months, 5 years. Unless you put a time frame down.
Yeah.
How are you going to achieve it? Again, you need to set some rules for yourself, making sure, and all of these other things, they all apply to each other. So this isn't just like one for each goal. When you set yourself a goal, you need to run through the SMART goals and make sure that it matches every single one of the criteria.
Each box is ticked.
Yeah, because if it isn't, then it's probably not a good goal. Don't get me wrong, there probably are some that this doesn't fit with, but these are real good guidelines. So time bound is something that's crucial. So firstly, is that timescale going to be realistic?
Especially
again?
With bodies, because people, right, can we just say this now? 8-week, 12-week diets. They work? Yeah. Are they sustainable? No.
If it's a crash diet, if you want to try and lose X amount of weight in a certain period of time, yes, like I've said it before, we have time frames that we work with clients, obviously, because you need a time frame, but we would always choose to sacrifice the quickest progress possible for the progress that's far more sustainable in the long run, because we want you to make great progress in the next few months, but what's far more important is, are you still doing it in a year's time and 2 years time and 10 years time?
Exactly. This is the thing, is everything, if you're setting a goal, you have to realize your goal, you're aiming, is to obviously change something you don't like about yourself, and you want that change to be cemented in. You want that change to be long term. So don't expect a long term change to occur in a short time.
Yes.
It's not how it works.
So, and that interplays very well with the kind of the achievability of that goal. But also, don't swing too far the opposite way and be like, okay, I want to lose £5 in 5 years.
Yeah, no.
Because having things time bound, there's a reason why every fucking student in the world left it till the night before to get the assignment finished, because you need external pressure. So applying external pressure, for me having my list and my days and everything checked off, that adds a time-bound pressure for me that I need to do these things within this 24-hour window.
Yeah.
So I've added artificial pressure. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
that's the same with the journal. The tasks have to be done, all ticked off by the end of the day. Yeah. Otherwise you failed.
Exactly. So that's it. And adding that time-bound pressure that is appropriate, that's something that's going to be really beneficial to get you motivation. There's a reason, like I said, all fucking students leave everything to the last minute. There's very few people that have the level of, they're just that proactive that as a task arises, they'll get it done straight away, especially if it is something that they're not comfortable with, if they're new with, if it's out their comfort zone. Procrastination will creep in for most people. So I'm assuming that these goals you're setting are things that you've not done in the past. So you're probably going to be mindful of procrastination. Yeah. So making sure that you've set realistic goals. And again, if you don't know what is a realistic time-bound kind of frame for it, ask somebody. Yeah, have a little look. Have a fucking look on Google. I'm not saying that it's all going to have great information on there, but you should have at least a general idea.
Or just reach out to... This is another thing why social media is good. If you follow somebody that is doing something that you want to do, reach out to them. Listen, worst case, they don't respond. Best case, you get an answer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Nobody's going to send you a message back going, what do you message me for, you prick?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's doing that.
No. Oh, yeah, I message people all the time that like I'll follow on something, and sometimes I don't get a message, but that's fine. And then if I see something else, like Derek from More Plates, More Days, occasionally if I see a video or something that would be cool for him to make a video on, because he does a lot of like reaction stuff. Yeah. And I'll send it over to him. Never replied. Yeah. I'm not going to not do it. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I'll send it over to him. He might see one day. Yeah. But I imagine he got a fuckload of messages. Yeah. Because there's a load of other idiots like me sending him shit. So like, that's fine. I'm all right.
Yeah. So. But you're adding flames to the fire. You're not pissing on it.
Exactly. So I'm doing it because I hope that he would see that and find some value in it, and maybe that would be beneficial for his channel.
Positive thing. So that is really cool. So SMART. So we have one more time. SMART. SMART. And so you can be able to Google this if you need to again anyway to check it out.
And there's a few different variants on it, as this has been applied separately to different kind of industries, but generally they kind of follow specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time-bound. Those are the main points. There's, like I said, there was one there that was attainable opposed to achievable. Similar.
That's more physique based, I guess.
Yeah.
Because as well, that's a thing. A side tangent. We're good for tangents. Genetics. There is a factor that genetics play a part in the way that we look. So as much as you aspire to towards somebody who you may follow online or social media or in movies, we are all different and we are all individual, and your genetics will play a part in that. Your weaknesses compared to somebody else will be, you will also have strengths compared to that person that they don't have. So just because you see a weakness compared to somebody else doesn't mean you don't have strong points. So always remember that. Don't always just be, I like to be positively critical with myself. I say this in the fact that I will, if I see a weakness, I don't look at it and go, that's shit. I look at it and go, how can I improve that? Yeah. Like it's sometimes it's great to see a weakness because you're actioning change by seeing a weakness. If you ignore weaknesses like you see in the gym all the time, people only training bits they like, shying away and not putting the same intensity to the bits they don't like, they never look any better. Yeah. They never look any better. But when you've got that dude in there that fucking hates training back, he's in there repping out, doing fucking rack pulls, in there on the lat pull down, hating every fucking rep, biceps burning out, forearms burning, not feeling the back, yet a year down the line, the fucker's got a good looking back, you know, and it's balanced physique. So that's the same with workload as well. Do the jobs you fucking hate first. Yeah. Because leave the ones you like till later because you know you're going to do those, and get the ones out of the way first. And one thing I did want to say that you said as part of that SMART one was getting stuff done early, like you said. But here's one I do. When you've completed a task, because you've got more than one to do in a day, don't then sit down and have yourself a little victory parade of an hour of doing nothing. Yeah. because you just then fall behind on the other tasks you got to do, and that's something I do. Yeah. I'll get something done. I'm like, fuck yeah, got that done, and then I'll just fucking chill. And I was like, I don't have time to chill, dickhead. Yeah. Move on to the next one. But I have that habit of chilling in between, and it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to carry that momentum on as you've, like, that's the point of the little wins and some of the easier things that are on your tick list. It is to build that momentum.
Yes,
it makes a fucking massive difference. Huge. And when you stop, how many people, that train on the afternoons, they've gone out, they've done their 9 to 5, and they get home, sit down on the sofa.
Fuck, worst thing you can do.
How much fucking harder is it to get your arse up, get changed, head out, than if you'd have just had a change of clothes in your bag, just drive straight to the gym, or you literally nip home, get changed straight away, head straight back out the door.
I never used to go home. Yeah, straight to the gym every time, and I was successful with that for the whole year that had to be done. I didn't, and my sessions were good, and I felt great, and I still got home by like 7, half 7 at night, and had an evening. Yeah, so it was fine. But if I'd have gone home, one, you got to go home to then go back out. You're wasting time. You're burning 30 minutes usually by doing that. You get home, you start. Oh, you check this, or you do that, you faff. Before you know it, it's 8 o'clock in the evening.
You're thinking, I'm a little bit hungry, but it's probably too late to have a snack before I have tea, so I'll just have tea, and then you start cooking, and then it's like, you've left it late, then you're full, and you're like, I'm a bit bloated now. It's just like, maybe I'll go in the morning, and then you set your alarm early, and you skip it.
Here we go.
And then, you've
but
started.
What you're doing is training that mechanism in, so don't fucking do it. Don't do that.
Carry the positive momentum through.
I hope you've got some points there. There's so many more. If you want us to go into more specifics on certain stuff, or you've got some things you'd like us to talk about, obviously always remember to let us know. I'll put up the questions on Spotify. If you haven't noticed this, if you scroll just down from where the episode is, you'll see, and I'll make sure there's one on this, there's a question section where you can literally, I will just put in, what do you want us to talk about? And then you just answer in the box. And we literally get them through Spotify. It tells us what you've all replied. And then sometimes I'll put polls on there and stuff like that you can get involved with as well if we've asked something during the CREWCast.
I think YouTube should have that. It's such a great little feature, that little poll feature on there. I think that's great.
Yeah. And the question one. It's really good. So that's always going to be on the Spotify. And Spotify's free. If you don't have Spotify, because you think, you have to pay for music. I used to say that all the time. And then the more I've used Spotify, and that's the one I wanted to talk about actually, just very quickly. Music in your life. More important than you know. We talked about it on the past podcast as well, but I'm telling you now, I've got a speaker in my bedroom now. Wake up in the morning, music comes on. No TV, no phone, just music comes on. I've got a little Google mini home in there now because I found it under the I haven't used it. It was a Christmas present from like 3 years ago from my mum because all my stuff's Alexa in here. Yeah. So I thought, but in my bedroom, that's my own space. Yeah. So I've got this little Google mini thing that I set up literally last night. Yeah. And now I can have it wake me up. And I can have it wake me up to Spotify music. So I'm waking up to music instead of an alarm. Yeah. And I'm waking up to
something with the sickness.
I'm waking up to something that's not my fucking phone. So I'm not picking my phone up. I'm talking to the dot. I don't need to because it's playing music I want it to play to wake me up. And I'm getting up, and then having music on through the morning and starting your tasks, writing your task list, getting things done, whatever it is you're going to do. Don't put the fucking TV on. Don't sit down. Don't get comfy. Just disconnect yourself from that comfort. Like I obviously made that note of fucking weeks ago in here, so I'm going to start all that again. Yeah. But music is huge. Honestly, don't buy that pair of fucking suspension-ridden bullshit trainer that some twatty fashion companies come out with that cost you £200. Go and invest in some good speakers to have around your house. It's the best thing you can do. Just more music in your life, because music, it's a wavelength, it's an energy. It can uplift, it can make you feel sad, it can make you happy, it can make you cry, it can make you laugh. It can take you back to a memory in time. So put fucking music on that you know is going to make you happy and energized in the morning. And you fucking will be. Yeah. And I've had music playing now until mid-afternoon, all day, every day. No TV in the mornings anymore. And I was getting bad for getting down and sitting and starting breakfast with a Netflix series.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. That is. Netflix is a slippery slope. So yeah, save stuff like that. I'm not saying not do it at all, but like wait till all the important tasks are checked off, and this is you sitting down on earn it. But on the afternoon, you're going to be going to bed in a few hours, and you want to relax. Let that be your downtime. You don't fucking. You've just woke up. You've fully rested. You do not need to sit down and watch TV.
Yeah, that's very true.
You've done plenty of chilling. You've been unconscious for a good amount of hours. I just want to mention one quick thing. Actually, you just reminded me because you said about the super twatty trainers. So yesterday, one of Emma's Christmas presents she got me was we went to this Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience, and it's in Cheshire, and it's this walk in the woods. It's at night, so it's all pitch black, and then in the woods they've got all their own lighting, and then they've got animatronics hidden in the woods, and they've got projectors, so there's like you can see like unicorns in the distance, and Really, really cool. They had like Aragog's lair. And like a big animatronic spider that comes out, and then there's loads of them that come down from the trees. It was cool, man. It was definitely worth checking out. But anyway, this is a walk. It's a fucking muddy walk in the woods.
Yeah.
There were so many people that are there in like white Yeezys, and I'm just like,
fucking idiots.
I'm there in my walking boots that are like neat.
I'd have been in wellies, mate.
Yeah. Emma was in her wellies. I just prefer my walking boots because they're more comfortable, but they were like high walking boots.
I think that's a good point. Don't fucking do you.
Yeah.
That's somebody wearing fucking, because they think they're going somewhere, someone's going to see me, I've got to look cool.
Yeah.
You look really cool now, knobhead.
Yeah.
In your white trainers and a
Yeah,
load of mud.
he had this one guy, white Yeezys, and these like skinny, like white Armani like joggers that. Oh yeah, and they were.
Nobody's looking at you, mate, and thinking, "What a sick guy." Everyone's looking at you thinking, "Twat."
Yeah, I just saw him. I was just like, very fucking regrets wearing them.
Yeah,
They
nobody's
were
thinking
fucked.
positive thoughts. Everyone's just either laughing at you for being a dick. Just that's the thing. If you try too hard, it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Just do you, man. If you fucking want to wear a goddamn muumuu and wellies, you do it. If you want to be the fat dude we saw at that concert in London, dressed like fucking Garfield.
Fair play to him.
All we did when we looked at him was we just looked at him and went, "That's mad."
Yeah.
Fair enough. We didn't think any negative thoughts.
No,
We just
no,
like, that's fucking
Probably
crazy.
just did what the fuck he
Fair
wanted
play.
to do.
And he was, do you know what I mean? And so what if somebody does think you're whatever for being you?
People are going to think you're a twat.
Guess
no matter
what?
you do.
Guess what? You don't need that person in your life. Like we said before. Guess fucking what? They don't have to be in your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking don your wellies and enjoy a good muddy walk.
But definitely recommend that. It's only on for a limited time.
When's it
though.
on till? Oh my God.
I think it's in it ends in January. So
Okay.
have a look.
Show me afterwards.
Yeah,
and
I'll
book
send
that.
you a message. Yeah.
Awesome.
Should we
Right,
go to
let's do the
questions?
questions.
While you're just having a look, I'll just say there was one bit. I don't know whether to spoil it for everybody, but it's not really a spoiler.
Is it a spoiler?
Not really. Like, there's just loads of really. You're just going through, and it's beautiful. Just going through the woods, and there's hundreds of lights. So it's uplighters on the trees, so you can see all like different colours. And there was a few bits where it was like they deliberately kept it pitch black, other than the track, and then you'd see eyes lighting up in the woods, and you'd hear like the werewolves growling. Wow. And there was speakers throughout as well, so you could hear bits from the film. There was bits where like the oh shit, we got a lot of questions.
Yeah,
the car, is it the second film where Ron Weasley steals a car?
Oh, the flying car.
Yeah,
yeah. I think so.
And
Well,
I think it's the second.
I think so.
And I can't remember.
Right, third.
And
Anyway,
you can't see the car, but you can hear it, and it's like flying around you from the speakers, and then you see the headlights in the distance, and then the headlights are there moving, and then you hear them like crash into the tree. You can't see any of it, but they're
That's
just
cool,
two spotlights. It's just really well done, and like I said, Aragog's...
It's in Cheshire.
Yeah, Cheshire.
So you got Cheshire Oaks right there as well, which is cool.
Yeah,
Do a double whammy.
I know. And they've got like a big Harry Potter village at the end where you can buy all your butterbeer, your wands, all your crap, and they've got like fish and chips and stuff like that. And it was quite nice, like really
done.
stunning. Yeah, very well done. Like just very, very Harry Potter.
Cool. I like stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Creative. I like creativity.
Yeah, fuck me. If they can make money off Harry Potter's name, they will.
Yeah.
I'd pay, I don't know what it was Emma paid, but I bet you it's probably like 40, 50 quid a head.
Probably.
For a walk.
Yeah.
It was a
essentially.
very well done walk, and they earned their money. Just honestly, the amount
But
of lights.
it's memories. You're
Yeah.
paying for creating a memory, that might otherwise not occur.
And it just
Might
the
not be
idea
there next year.
that that's something that's temporary. Like they had to go and set that up in the woods. They set up a load of spider webs everywhere in the trees, and there was one bit where there was just owls, like loads of owls all hidden around, like in the woods, and you just like see them looking at you.
That sounds sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
Right, here we go. Question time. I am simply Maria. Well, yes, you are, unless your name's Dave. Hips pop out of socket. How can I train lower body without that occurring? Squats hurt.
So, if you're hypermobile or just double jointed and you kind of dislocate very easy, often that is very challenging. It's not uncommon with women if it dislocates all the time. Firstly, you're going to need to see a physiotherapist, and then you're going to want to work with somebody who has experience. Often, and I don't normally recommend it, but working in reduced ranges of motion, not fully extending, that's something that will be very beneficial for
Being
you.
aware of the mechanics of the movement, where the pressure loads points are, and working around that. Usually pulse reps are pretty good variations to do that, because you can opt with lightweight then, less likely to displace the joint, but still it's going to create that overload that you need.
Yeah, and it doesn't completely neglect full range of motion, because I would never recommend anyone completely cut out full range of motion, just because then your risk of injury gets exponentially higher if you only have strength in a limited range of motion.
The main thing here is going to be weight. That's going to be a main concern. If the simple movement of emotion is popping it out, that's you're going to have to go and see somebody about possible surgery for things like that. That's very bad. But if it's load that's causing it, you can completely... Here's a big thing is you don't need masses of weight to develop muscle. Overload is overload. Your body's... Unless you're bothered about strength, your body will respond to overload in any form.
Yeah.
And you can get overload from high reps or
high rep tempos,
slowing
pauses,
the tempo of the reps. All of these things are an option to you. So with a 10 kilo weight, you can create a variety of different overloads at a variety of different rep ranges, depending on the pace of it, whether you're doing hold points, squeeze points, pulse points. There's so many options that you can do. Yeah. So I would have a researcher looking at kind of like isometric holds even.
Yeah, ISOs, yeah, brilliant.
Like that.
There's
anything where you're in
options.
Control.
I think in terms of any specific recommendations, in terms of obviously said squats hurt, I can't give you any specific movements that I can say
What
do
I would
this
say
and
is
don't
have
do
a
that.
go with the safety squat bar. Because that makes a massive difference to me who has struggled with the mechanics of a squat.
Yeah.
Because the reason, if your hips are popping out, if you're bad at squatting and you're allowing your hips to kick back on a squat rather than drop straight down, that could be because if you let your hips kick back on a squat rather than drop straight down, your hip joints actually lock up as a normal human.
Yeah.
So if your hip joints are locking up and then they have the tendency to pop out, at that lockout point, they're going to pop out. Yeah. And that's not a point you should ever hit during a squat.
True, yeah, definitely.
So try the safety squat bar.
Yeah, it's something you can definitely think about. Like I said,
What about box squats?
Yeah, box squats again. I think one thing that might be beneficial, it's really hard to analyse without seeing the person.
Yeah.
And actually being able to work with them over time and kind of see where they're at and what works for them. Something that I would say would probably be an easy one, but most people won't have access to, is a belt squat as well. Because your hips are actually loaded, it allows you to perform a squat where you can lock your knees out, you can fully extend, but you can still keep a bend in the hips.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to do that with a barbell on your back, even an SSB with any bar, your spinal erectors are going to get very fatigued over time because they are constantly bearing that load.
Yep.
Whereas when the load is on your hips, you don't have to fully extend your hips. But you can still get a decent range of motion and squat deep, but just not fully lock out. So that's a potential to look at.
A few ideas to try there. I hope that they help. Must be fitness. Any tips for an advanced gym goer to help a complete beginner?
From an advanced.
Any tips? Oh,
is that it?
So I think he's saying we're advanced gym goers to help a complete beginner. Yet your name is Must Be Fitness. I'm showing you're not a beginner.
We know Must Be Fitness. He said he always messages. He's not a complete.
He's not a beginner.
You're
confusing us, sir.
From what I've seen, you're pretty solid. You train consistently. You're in good shape. I'm sure. I think he's deadlifted 140. Which again, that's
anyway.
All right.
It doesn't matter whether you're advanced or whatever. The basics are the basics, which most people seem to forget. You don't actually need to change up from the solid basic foundations of weightlifting. Yeah. The only things that change is, like we've talked about, is weight, tempo, rep ranges, and control of muscle over time gets better, so you're able to focus harder. So my main tip would be, don't try and do any overly excessive fancy movements. Stick to the basics and stick to getting them done well.
Yeah, get technically good at them. Get stronger with them over time, or perform more volume with them over time.
And just be positively critical. Don't just shift the weight and go, yeah, I did it. Video it. If it's a squat or a deadlift, see how did it actually go up compared to how it felt. Yeah. Are you overly moving in the upper body when you shouldn't be? Are your knees tracking where they should be going? Are all these things in line? Because if they're not, you don't need to increase that weight. You need to improve the movement, and that's what I think. Improve movement over increase weight.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's always going to be crucial. I think the number one take home of everything is just consistency over time. Yeah. That consistency will trump every other variable to do with your training.
Hard work beats. What is it? Hard work beats.
I don't know.
I think it's hard work beats skill when skill doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
But it's not the word skill. It's something like there's another word for it, but that's pretty much the takeaway from it.
Yeah, just consistency over time. You know what I mean? The minutiae, as long as you're not doing anything that's detrimental, is going to hurt you. If you get in and get the work done, and you do it more often than not, this is a slow road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
training for years. You'll probably be training for the next 20 years, and you'll
You should
hopefully
be.
be still making progress.
That should go. That's the realization is what you've started is lifelong.
Yeah.
Should be. One thing I would say is most people don't know is high frequency training would be my biggest one for people to do, and that's training everything at least twice a week.
Yeah, definitely.
Get rid of the bro split. It's not that it doesn't work; it's that it doesn't work long term.
Yeah.
You will hit plateaus hard.
Frequency over total volume works definitely better, especially if you're a natural athlete or natural.
Even
gym
if you're
goer.
not, though, it's still better.
Yeah,
Even
I
if you're
think
dark side,
yeah.
you will improve more doing high frequency. It's just you get away with doing the bro split because you recover faster.
That's what I mean. I think, and there are some benefits to the bro splits in terms of the total volume, and also the fact that you have you're able to get more exercise selection in than when you're hitting multiple muscle groups, because obviously that means you'll be doing some kind of clustering of exercises, whether you're doing upper, lower, or push pull legs, or you know what I mean. So you can't fit as many movements in for your chest because you have to pair that in with other things.
I still fit 4 movements in every week for each body part, which is all they do anyway, isn't it?
I don't know. I've seen bro splits where people are doing like 6 to 8 different movements.
You couldn't do that. But if you're doing the 4, which is standard, 2 compound, 2 isolation, you can actually match that on high frequency. And overall, because most people will do 3 or 4 sets on the bro split, when you're on high frequency, you do 5 sets, 2 exercises. Over the week, you actually end up with 4 more sets.
More total volume.
You end up with way more total volume. Yeah,
and the quality of that volume is way better because you're not doing those sets after you've already just done another like 10 sets previously.
Yeah, you're not beating a dead horse.
Yeah, your shoulders are fresh or relatively fresh because they've had a few days rest.
Yeah.
So the quality is going to be way higher.
And you're stimulating them twice in a week rather than once.
Muscle protein
because
synthesis.
our protein synthesis only lasts max of 72 hours anyway, on targeted areas. There you go.
Yeah, so definitely, increased frequency. And one, this is very, very specific to Must Be Fitness, because as we were talking, I remembered. I've seen you, because he deadlifts relatively frequently, or I've seen him deadlifting. Your technique's sound, and I've seen you fail or give up on lifts so close to the lockout, and you could have grinded them through. They were, yes, you may have noticed a slight bit of breakdown in your form, but it was definitely within acceptable levels. You got to a point where it wasn't moving as fast as you'd like it to move. Learning how to grind is a skill as well.
Yeah, because you have to feel where the load is still, and you still maintain load in the correct areas, even through the grind.
Yeah.
If you're going full body, super scion and not feeling anything, that's not a good grind. Yeah. But if you're still displacing on a deadlift that load through the legs, the glutes, and it's not crushing your lower back to pieces, you're not feeling your shoulders getting ripped out. Then
I remember. I think I have seen him a few times fail on a deadlift because he was going for a new PB. And this was one time relatively recently, maybe like a month ago.
You need a hype man next
and then exactly. And I was watching. And I was like, "Fuck, he's got this." And then he'd put it down. I was like,
that was
you almost had it. You'd nearly locked it out. And he's like, and he was failing. He was above the knee. Like he'd made it through the worst part. It wasn't that his grip was going. He literally was like going up. Then it slows down, which that's fine.
Yeah.
Didn't come to a halt. It just slowed down, and then
see, that's when you need the dude next to you training. He would be there going, "Don't you fucking stop! Don't you fucking stop!"
Yeah,
and
just like push through. And like I said, I'm all for calling it on a lift if you feel like you're hitting like a potentially risky form breakdown.
Yeah, if you start twisting or rolling.
From what I could see, it looked very good still. It just slowed down. So yeah, that's one for you specifically.
That's some tender loving care your way. Okay, one negative you're leaving in 2021 and one positive you're taking into 2022.
One negative that I'm leaving.
I am going to leave behind my fear of picking up the camera and just filming shit. Because I'm going to start filming what I want to film. Yeah. Not what I think should be filmed.
Yeah.
And so the positive I'm carrying forward into 2022 is the fact that I'm going to do with more of what I enjoy again, and the fact that hopefully we're going to be able to travel again.
Yes. Yeah.
As well. And I'm going to take advantage of that traveling.
Yeah. No, that's great. I've not actually specifically thought about that. There's some that I kind of have in my mind already, and I know one of them that I definitely want to leave behind is how harsh I can be on myself. My kind of inner monologue is very. I just have very high standards of what I expect of myself, and that's good in certain aspects, but also can wear me down
Yeah.
in a sense. So just to be, so
not beat yourself up as much.
yeah. So the good thing that I'm carrying through, and the bad thing that I'm dropping. So I want to drop that kind of that negative, or just overly critical eye on myself. I don't want to, I don't want to lose it completely because it's something that does help me improve over time. But the way I actually think about it should be improved, and I'll just be kinder on myself and let myself go and have easy days sometimes.
Yeah,
That's
realise
all right.
that it was okay to not have pushed that thing through that day.
Yeah,
it will happen tomorrow instead.
Exactly. Yeah. Some people need someone to like have a go at them and moan at them. Whereas like even if I haven't fucked up, if I've just not performed above,
You feel like you've just not achieved as much as you could have.
yeah, it'll just it fucking really.
That took too much energy.
Yeah, it pisses me
But you
off.
still got a fucking job done.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that'll be for me. I think.
Yeah, I think yours is to appreciate the victories
Yeah.
rather than devalue the victory because it took a little longer than you wanted.
Yeah, that's it. Because my idea of standards is like when something is achieved, it's not well done. That's achieved. That's just like that's what you should have done.
Yeah,
So I never really take that time to appreciate the fact that it's done. So as soon as it's done, right, what's next?
Yeah.
Never actually give myself a pat on the back or even just mentally kind of acknowledge the fact that I've just done a task.
Yeah, acknowledge your victories. I think that's a good one. Any goals for the new year? I think we just really kind of covered that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Please explain to my girlfriend why she has to train upper and not just legs and bum. She won't listen to me. Because you will end up with terrible body imbalances. You'll actually end up with some issues and impingements if you don't train upper body. Also, by training upper body, you are going to improve your lower body as well because everything causes a release of growth hormone, and you've got IGF-1, you've got insulin rebalance, and you've got the fact that every time you train and stimulate the muscle in the upper part of the body, you're going to help improve the tightness and overall look of your entire body because you're going to help improve your glycogen retention throughout the entire body, which is going to make you look tighter and firmer. Also, women can't get big muscles easily, so the more you train your upper body, it's just going to get tighter and sharper, not bigger.
Yeah, exactly. You will build a little bit of muscle, but it's not going to be anything that's detrimental to your overall look. Also, I'm assuming if you're training lower body with a degree of efficiency, you're going to be performing some kind of a squatting movement, some kind of a deadlifting movement, and both of those are loaded via your upper body. Yeah. So having a weak upper back, mid back, lower back, shoulders, all of these things, and forearms, all of these are going to be then limiting factors for your lower body training because you can't hold on to a deadlift because your arms are too weak, or you can't squat properly, you can't squat
your
very
chain
heavy,
can't handle the load.
Yeah, because you round over because your mid back's too weak. So you're then leaving gains on the table for your lower body just because your upper body's not up to scratch. So there's not only that factor as well, but the fact that with a training split that encompasses your entire body, like you said, you're going to be just overall healthier. Even if you don't give your upper body as much focus, that's completely fine. But it's another session in the gym. So if you were training lower body, realistically, you're probably not going to be training lower body more than 3 times a week. I think that's probably
You'd be surprised.
I know some people do, but if you're sensible,
hit glutes 3 times a week.
Yeah. So if you're sensible, most people, and don't get me wrong, there are certain extreme cases where people would need to train with slightly higher frequency for lagging muscle groups, but she's obviously fairly new to lifting if she still has that idea.
Yeah.
So she might be in 2 leg sessions, 3 leg sessions a week. If you added another 1 or 2 upper body sessions in a week, that's more total training volume, more calories burned. You're going to have a slight increase in muscle mass, so you're then going to have a slightly higher resting metabolic rate.
You're also going to have more calories on
more
a daily
total
basis.
calories.
You're to eat more without putting weight on.
Yeah, there's a million fucking benefits of why she should do that.
Bad weight, fat weight.
Yeah.
You want weight putting on. If you're trying to grow muscle, you're going to get heavier.
Yeah. And also,
That's fine.
Who the fuck wants to be weak? Do you want to not, I think that no matter who you are, having a degree of strength, because lower body strength, unfortunately for most people, is much less practical than upper body strength. Because having some great butt cheeks isn't going to help you carry your shopping bags in, or open that jar that you can't open, or pick your kids up. Do you know what I mean? That upper body strength is going to be a massive component to that. So who wants to be weak and incapable?
There you go. And a sexy back on a girl that's well defined is a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. We covered that one. Here we go. We've got a
That was a
dual
little
one.
bit creepy at the end there.
Yeah.
That was like,
I'm just saying,
sexy back.
a nice back on a girl that's
No, yeah.
defined. The musculature in a girl's back is so much nicer than a big smooth thing.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember when I was doing my sports massage course when I was a kid, and like all the girls that we were massaging, so it was at this college, and they basically did like health and beauty. So every single class in there was girls, and it was all doing beauty and all this stuff. And then there was just our one class of guys. And when we were massaging the girls, most of them would opt for back massages, probably because they didn't shave their legs.
Yeah.
And then some of them, it was fucking impossible. It was just a rib cage. You might as well have been fucking massaging a xylophone or something like that. It was, or it was just a slab of flat meat, and I was just like, I don't know where anything is. I can't feel anything.
That's so weird.
And like it's because they got literally
muscle tone.
barely any musculature at all.
Ugh. That was a harsh noise. Sorry. Do you have a dream bike you would love to own? I've passed my bike test recently. Any recommendations on upgrades from a 125? Well, Callum Roke, well fucking done on becoming part of the bike community in full bore. I would recommend, for good bikes to start with, things like the Ducati Monster, the CBF bikes are really kind of user-friendly. If you want the sports bike, like what I've got, the CBR 600 F4i is a brilliant bike to start with. You can work on all these yourself. Another one, what's another good one? We look at a few with you, didn't you?
Yeah, I can't remember.
What was the ones we came up with for you?
I can't remember the names of them. They're all just bloody letters and numbers, most of them.
They are, yeah. I want to say ZF, but that's the wrong one. It's not going to come to my brain. But yeah, the ones I've suggested are all good ones to go for. Hondas are freaking bulletproof engine-wise. Just if you do buy a bike, try and get one that's been stored in a garage and not one that's kept outside under a tarpaulin, because they tend to they suffer from weathering, and you're going to end up needing to replace pipes and bolts and stuff like that. So that's a good way to go, but congratulations. And dream bike, I don't really have dream bikes. I like so many different ones that there isn't just one I would want. I do want to own some classic bikes, like from the World War II era, some of those Enfields, like an original one. And then on the other end of things, all the sports bikes to me are getting a bit boring, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
They're all too kitted up. They do too much for you. Everything's electronic. You're just a passenger. I like riding the things. So I like feeling the gear change. I like having to work them. I like that whole atmosphere to the thing. So I like the older bikes. My next bike that I want to get is an old CBR 600 RR. One from like 2000 and I think like 1999 actually. I think they go from like I think it's a T up to a W or an X. They're all the same model, just slight variations. Yeah. And I want to get the later version, the 1999 version of that. There's a CBR 600 RR with a urban tiger fairing on it. Oof, it's a sexy looking girl. So yeah, I'm a bit more about the older ones, if I'm honest.
Fair play. Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know yet.
I don't know.
Who needs to
I'm in the same.
That's your
boat.
goal for 2022.
Yeah,
bike
that's
test.
definitely a big goal. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Lewis, with someone who has dyslexia as well, any tips to strengthen it? What, he wants to get more dyslexic? More dyslexia!
Right, so what you need to do, find hard surfaces like tables and hit your head from really fast. But I find it affects the dyslexia more if you read a sentence and then immediately hit your head. Okay, now, so I'm assuming you want to kind of work around the dyslexia or, well, work to improve. So for me, it's really hard to gauge how much of my kind of lagging behind was due to purely the dyslexia, because when I was at school, I actively avoided anything that made me read because I performed bad at it and I didn't want to show myself up. I was embarrassed, I suppose, to a certain degree. So, yeah, but I actively avoided it. So in a time where you're meant to be developing your reading and writing skills, I shied away from that. So that also then played into it and made
Do you think you could have changed that though? Because you were young. You know what I mean? Did you even know you had dyslexia?
I did.
Did you get the help you needed? Did you feel like they supported you in that?
I got some support right towards the end of secondary school, but by then it was too late. Yeah. So
as an adult, then I guess.
Yeah,
potentially. What we're talking about.
Yeah, potentially with better support. I don't know where I would have been starting from. I might have been at a point where the dyslexia barely would have held me back. So one of the things that they did as tests, basically something to do with the colours of the pages, the font.
Yes, isn't it blue sheets they put over the right
Different ones, so green worked better for me.
Right.
So that is something that I do if I'm doing a decent amount of, basically have a little play around, see what colours seem to trigger because a lot of the time you'll see words moving around and shifting and blurring, which is quite challenging. So certain colours will work better together. And then also certain fonts. Some fonts for me just are like instant dyslexia, like where they literally just like look like shit. I can't read them. So firstly, have a little play around, and now I've got a couple that I know work okay with me. So then if I've got a decent amount of reading to do, copy and paste it onto Word, change the back colour of the page, change the font to a font that's readable, make sure that the font...
Oh, you actually change the colour of the page on the computer?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
cool.
so if it's
That's
something
simple.
digital, that's how I'll do that. And often increasing the spacing between words is something, because the shifting of the words as you're reading them can be very distracting, and then when they're shifting and moving over the top of each other, basically becomes really challenging. It's really fucking hard to explain. So increasing the spacing between the words and between the lines, that seems to make things a little bit better. So I have less words on a page at once.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The more that are on there, the easier it is for me to kind of get jumbled. When you're
When
reading...
it's spinning around, they're all shifting. If you look away and then look back, does it stop?
No, it comes back pretty much straight away.
That's crazy.
But it's like when I first start looking at something, it's fine, and then it'll gradually creep in over a bit of time, and then it'll build up. I don't know if this is the same for everyone.
So
this is how...
It must be to do with focal point then.
I have no fucking clue. But it gets worse over 5 to 10 minutes, and then...
Weird question. Can you do those magic eye things?
What magic eye thing?
You know where it's like it looks like nothing, and then you stare through it, and you can see a 3D image inside it. Can you do those?
Yeah.
And do they stay solid?
Yeah.
So maybe it's not focal stuff then.
Yeah, I have no...
Because that's about focal control, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's one of the ways that affected me, and then because I didn't read, that had a knock-on effect to my actual spelling, because reading is a big way that people do pick up on how to spell. So by kind of, if it's on your computer, it'll allow you to read a little bit more text, which will help with your spelling. Making a conscious effort to learn as well. This is something that Emma, she's very academic, my partner. She knows how to... She's just one of them people that you're like, how do you spell this? And she just knows how to spell it because she's read so much. She's just picked up things over time. And she was the person who told me that, like, the more you read, the better you'll get at spelling, because that's actually how you pick most of these things up. So making a conscious effort to read a little bit more and ask the questions, because for years... I would just spell stuff wrong and just be okay with that, and I would just,
Except I just can't do that.
Yeah, that's what I never chose to make do anything about it. So now I do make a conscious effort to, when I've spelled something wrong, but like, right, what is that? And again, it definitely doesn't happen the first time. I might spell it wrong another 40 fucking times, and I'll know that I'm going to spell it wrong, but I just can't remember the right thing. Yeah. And just it's a real effort. It really is to make a conscious change to that. If you're reading a physical book, you can get these little coloured sheets. So if you do find a colour that works a little bit better, have the coloured sheet. And also you can get coloured sheets that have basically they're blacked out, so you can only read one sentence at a time, and then you move it down. So again, it reduces the words on the page.
It's got to be something to do with focal point versus peripheral vision, and it just merging the two. It's crazy. But there you go. Lots of good suggestions.
Those were some of the ones that how
that was a deep ass question. That was a big subject matter covered in a very short moment. Favorite clothing brand? Didn't know. I got to go with Levi's for the jeans, and then Carhartt at the moment for me.
I don't buy a huge amount of clothes. I like a lot of Zara stuff, to be fair. I
buy loads of Carhartt stuff, vintage. That's why I hunt down the old school stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would suggest getting on some vintage places and buying clothes from there. Let's start reducing our carbon footprint a bit, and you get some cool shit that people constantly ask, where's that from? Because you can't get it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's usually higher quality too.
Yeah.
Which is why it's still available to buy.
Almost definitely, because it probably wasn't knocked up in a sweatshop for
100%. Yeah, kicks ass. But I do like the Levi's Japanese denim ranges and stuff that are limited when they only make small runs. Yeah. They're well worth it. And they often go into sale because people don't know they exist. So you can really get some really cool stuff for half the price a lot of the time. Where we're at? Hi guys, love what you are doing. What do you both have planned for the new year? 12 p. What? And then they've just. Oh no, go on. That's just two people with the same profile pic. I thought it was two questions. Okay. So what have you planned for the new year? Do you need for New Year's Eve or for New Year in general? Because we've talked about that already.
I'm guessing New Year's Eve. Maybe
New Year's
the way
Eve
it
and
sounds.
party at the neighbours.
Gosh.
They're putting one on and they're very good. They do like full shebang. You go in and there's big old casserole dishes full of chicken curries and usually like some kind of casserole things going on. And there's be loads of dips and foods and everyone brings a pudding or a salad or something over. And there's usually like 20 or 30 people there. And there's a ridiculous amount of champers and stuff on tow. Yeah.
Class.
Yeah.
For me, so I'm still unsure. I know Tyler, the restaurant, he's asked if I wanted to go over because he's having some people over his little house party. I'm not certain whether I'm going to do that. We might be boring and just have a quiet one, me and Emma. It's first year in the house, and we just enjoy. Like we're really enjoying having a bit of time to ourselves.
You're busy.
With not a lot of. Well, we've always got stuff going on, but so having these few days where we've got just free time to chill and spend time with each other and relax. I'm really enjoying that. So might just be a boring bastard and do that.
Yeah, fair play. 12 p.m. Is it better to lose weight than build muscle? Or I don't know why it says 12 p.m. at the beginning. Maybe that's an error with the old spell checker. Is it better to lose weight then build muscle, or do both at the same time? Well, it's better to train to lose fat, and in the interim, you will develop any new muscle that you need to develop that you haven't hit properly before, because you can. There's a very limited window where if you create a new stimulus to a muscle, you can increase and improve that muscle in a weight loss phase, but it will plateau out after probably around about 5 or 6 weeks. But there is a possibility of doing that. I have always said strip down to build up, because once you strip down sensibly using macros in a controlled manner, you can see where your real weak points are, where your real strengths are, and then also you can come up doing a lean gain. So you're very controlled with your calories, very consistent, and you just up and you kind of slowly edge your way up over a good 12-month period, and stay in better shape, and you're able to judge your real results that are happening as you go along.
Yeah, I think for me, I pretty much like 80% agree with what you said. I think it can vary slightly depending on that person's start position. For most people, they're probably carrying a little bit more fat than they want to, and most people probably not carrying anywhere near as much muscle as they'd want to. So yeah, dropping that body fat first, and you'll still be able to put on muscle when you're very new to lifting, because you're in that kind of unique position where just muscle fucking fall onto you just because it wants to. There is a certain kind of group of people that might be that kind of skinny fat, but they're not really that fat. It's they only look fat because they just have no muscle on them at all. Then probably going into a relatively lean bulk, or even staying at maintenance and just trying to get stronger, trying to put on muscle tissue, and you might actually carry the same amount of body fat, but you will look leaner because it then starts to get distributed over a bigger frame. You've got more muscle. So like people, and obviously this is over the course of a year or two.
But I would say that's more what people should do if they don't want to lose any weight. I don't think anybody should be at a basic level and start a quote unquote bulk, right? Because you're basically just going to get fat. Because if you're not shredded naturally, and then you start eating excessive calories, you're going to just put fat on, especially if you've not got the muscle mass to absorb those calories. It's a stupid idea. So like you said, it's way better to just find your maintenance level, start building from that, or strip back and build up. That's our two ways, definitely. Collagen, your views. I've used collagen seemingly very effectively through my recovery. So I've dosed 10 grams of collagen pretty much most of the way through my recovery stage, because collagen is a massive factor in tendon and ligament. Fucking little fruit fly thing bugging around. How did they sneak in? After the chalky orange, that one little fly has made its way through the whole house. I can smell it. Collagen makes up a large proportion of our tendons and ligaments, and we don't really get adequate supplies through our diet most times. So to supplement collagen is a very good idea, especially if you're recovering from an injury. Also, it's not bad to have in there for your skin and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, there's meant to be lots of benefits.
Lots of health benefits for it.
Joint and tendon health. There's no real negatives to it, other than most of the time it doesn't taste too great. If you're having
like pina colada, it was all right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just get flavourless and just bang it in something.
I was going to say, I was on my protein literally yesterday, I think, about to order
I've got the marine
collagen
from them, just flavourless.
Right, yeah, because that's what I was going to get, but I was going to talk to you before I actually did it. Because, again, with video I was watching, I think it was Vigorous Steve, and he said he kind of gets a lot of his clients to shift onto collagen protein just because of the joint protective benefits of it. He said it's just a much better quality of protein, and he said the only trouble is normally the taste, but he said still get your whey, but then put like 1 scoop of whey, 1 scoop of collagen, so you get your flavour from your whey. Yeah. And then the plain collagen. So, I think that's probably something I'm going to be trying myself. Weird
question, but where did you buy your coffee mugs from? I think they're talking to me. Prinknash. Just Google Prinknash. Prinknash, all one word. It's just a style. I know. They're not even that expensive. You can usually find them on some little sites you can get in the fly. Here comes his doom. Kill the fly. Yeah, you got him. Oh, he got away! Oh my God, you trashed the place.
You fucking did though, innit?
Oh, he got him. Got him.
Sorry about that, everyone. Bob literally just...
Fucking, that was so aggressive. That was so... Because you missed him on the grab. You were just like...
that's it.
You could see you just pure... Look at the matches all over the table. Right, let's go. Fast. Lightning fast. Because we're packing up on nearly 2 hours. When will you be uploading the video about your recovery from your surgery, bro? I'm literally filming that today, bro. So it will be up, bro. Probably the next day, bro. Okay, bro? Cool, bro. Go for it. Nice and early. 9 a.m. Don't know what that means.
I think it's because we got an early one in.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we asked you on it 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah. Yes. My bad. 9 a.m. Okay, cool. How was both your Christmases? Well, we just said both of us before. They were good, but they were relatively quiet for everyone, we feel, this year. Kind of just floated on by.
Which I liked. I enjoyed the fact that it was a quiet one.
I didn't mind it, but I wouldn't want it again. I want a bit more fuffle next year.
Your family were away, weren't they? So.
Yeah. I did feel that, actually. I'm a bit annoyed.
Did you FaceTime any of them on Christmas Day?
On Christmas morning and Christmas Day, all the way through, yeah.
The whole day?
Well, they just...
You hired somebody off the street to have a phone on their face to pretend to be your mum.
Just follow around. They were weird. My mum might obviously FaceTime me from Thailand. They were by a pool on Christmas Day eating pizza and chips by the beach. So you went from the pool and you walk from the pool about 100 metres and you're straight onto the beach. And I'm just looking at her, shaking my head like, that's not Christmas. What are you doing? That's wrong. And then my other sister was burnt. And then my other sister was just like, yeah, hey Lex, pizza and chips, yeah, Christmas. Because she's an Aussie now, because she's been over there that long. She doesn't really, hot Christmas is normal to her. I was just sat there going, I made the right decision. That's wrong. That's all wrong. I don't want to be there right now on Christmas. That's wrong. New Year's, yes. Christmas, no. Now, my other sister lives in Bordeaux. She rang me at 8 in the morning. Look at that. And so we had a nice conversation in the morning there. Just, she was off to lunch at a lady whose house she used to live with, because in the house was like a maisonette flat and she lived in there, and it was within this huge mansion. And so she was off to a Christmas mansion meal for the day. And so she just stayed in touch with this lady for a year. She doesn't live with her anymore, hasn't for 2 years or so, but she still invited her over for Christmas. That was lovely. So it's nice because they were all, having fun, but I was also a bit miffed that we weren't together because I'm a very Christmassy person. And I like the old family get-togethers. Right, here we go. Right, fast ones. Here we go.
We weren't fast.
We're going fast from now. What's the best advice you can give to an over 50 just starting out in fitness? It doesn't fucking matter. Get going, sort your diet out, and make sure you're doing the training like we've talked about throughout this podcast.
Yeah, all the same rules apply to you, other than your progression will be ever so slightly slow, but at 50, still not majorly slow. No,
I do TRT as well, mate.
Yeah, look into that.
Where in the world that you haven't been do you want to go to? Vietnam. I want to go there, and Iceland.
Thailand is somewhere I definitely want to go. Fuck, everywhere. Mexico. I really want to go to Mexico as well.
Oh, yeah, I was disappointed in Mexico.
No, don't tell me that.
I went for the wrong bit there. Oh, really? I went to a site.
Right.
We want to go into the real bit and stay in there.
Yeah.
Weirdest request. Sorry, chocolate face. Weirdest request from a company wanting to work with you.
Well, don't look at me. No one wants to work with me.
I haven't had weird requests. They're just, nah. No, there hasn't really been any. What's your favourite day of the year? Christmas, Halloween, birthday, etc. I think Christmas trumps them all for me when it's done right.
I think Halloween for me.
Yeah, you are Halloween. We just said that the other week. Why is there a fruit called a grapefruit when we already when there's already a fruit called a grape. It's true.
Somebody was being spiteful and tried to undermine the person who put grapes out there, and he was just like, "Oh, I've got grapefruit."
Well, which did it first?
I reckon grapes were first, and then grapefruit came in after.
That is weird, though, when you think about it. Why is that? Because they're not even slightly
Well,
similar.
I suppose it's going to be probably because this is what they are in the English language, and I would imagine
so in their native tongue,
they might be completely different.
So
but then
that's why.
Normally that's
Your
how they
brain's
work.
so fucking smart.
Normally
sometimes.
that's how they work. It'll be like a misinterpretation of another language.
Yeah.
So they'll have picked up
Translations.
one as something else, and then it'll be changed slightly.
What, you people are weird. Why is the Earth not a perfect sphere? Because we're molded by the gravitational pull on the Earth that is spinning and constantly evolving. So we have different weather systems that react around the world that erode the Earth in different ways around the Earth. So
And also as we form, like as
there's different gravitational pulls on different parts of the Earth constantly as well, which cause different things.
things that have hit the planet over the years as well.
Impact signs. I learned the other day that some of the deserts are moving, literally moving beneath our feet. They actually are in a consistent point of motion, just susceptible to the eye. But if you time lapse them, entire deserts are shifting all the time, which is why they stay deserts, because nothing can get root there. Any desert that stops moving then stops turning into a desert. Yeah, it's crazy. That's on Welcome to Earth with Will Smith. Have a look at that. It's a really interesting series. Yes, that's why. One thing I can't do is diet. Do you have any tips? Yeah, we've just gone through all those, and also macros. Macronutrient dieting is the way forward. And
I'm assuming he means by dieting.
just they fail at it, so you probably try
losing
some
weight. Because that's normally
one thing I can't do is diet.
Most people, I think, associate diet with trying to drop fat, don't they?
Yeah, I suppose, but the same. If you've got a goal set, you have to hit certain macro. Here's the thing: if you can't do it, cool, you're not going to be in the shape you want to be in ever. That's it. End of. Either fucking commit to it and do it, or just
tough.
accept you're going to stay the way you are.
Yeah, they're tough. They require effort, and you know that's it. There's a few tips, but none of them mean that it's easy. They just make it slightly easier.
But macros is the way forward to do it, in which case you hit protein, carbs, and fat targets, and no food is off limits in that respect. And you learn a lot about your foods as well. You learn that some you think are bad are very easy to fit into your diet, and some you thought were actually okay for you and healthy, like fruits, many of them, actually smash the shit out your carbs, and you actually need to be careful where you time them and when you eat them. Doesn't mean they're bad for you, just means that you probably ate more than you should on top of other foods, and you didn't realise, and all of a sudden you got more calories than you thought you ever had when you thought you were being healthy. So things like that. Be scientific about it. Be smart. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it in only 8 weeks. Realize that it's a long-term thing, long-term goals. Even when I dieted for shows, I took 20 weeks to do it, minimum.
The thing is, anything that you're doing, it's got to be done in the long run. Because if you make a short-term change to get an effect, that will be a short-term effect. Then, if you follow this crazy diet for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it would be, and then stop, you're going to go back to how you were.
And then the longer and more consistent you are with something and the better shape you get in, the easier it is to stay in that shape as well. So, you are rewarded for what you do over time. So there you go. We're coming up on our time limit. So that is it for this episode. It's been a bit longer, but there you go. Starting the new year.
Happy New Year.
That was full of information. That was a proper one. If you like those style, let us know, because we will smash through like topics like that. I think that's what we're going to aim to be doing all through the new year as well, is very specific, more specific based podcasting.
We're going to get more guests, more topics, more specific topics, because we've had quite a lot that we come in and it is just about stuff's been going on in our lives, which
is worth talking about.
100%. But I think that I always feel happier when we've been able to put out a bit more of an informative
specific subject matter we will focus on, so we can give you guys more help on.
And I think looking at the views as well, I think they do tend to sometimes perform a little higher as well.
Especially if they're things like getting over breakups, lifestyle things that other people don't tend to cover, or maybe don't feel they should, but fuck that, we'll cover all the weird shit.
Yeah, I think we preface all this with none of us, we are relative experts in fitness, but there's obviously still people that know far more than both of us. But all the other things, they're just things that have worked for us. It's not that it's not a golden rule. There's no such thing. It's just what's worked from us, and things that we've picked up over time.
We're going to have to wrap it up. So, very merry, happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2022. Leave behind in 2021. All that fucking baggage.
Yeah.
Bring forward only the good shit and be fucking ruthless. Do you know what? I'm going to say it. Be fucking ruthless. Look out for number one and help as many people along the way as you can. And you will surround yourself with better people, happier people, and hopefully you'll have a better and happier year. So here we go. Fuck you, 2020 and 2021. 2022, year of travel, year of getting stuff done. This is our year. This is it. So that's a first 2022. Make your own energy and toodle pip.